Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play the kid in the back again. This time we need to do Crowe's route, so, fully, not the bad end, so let's begin. This game is in development and incomplete. It may be prone to encountering some bugs and errors. Here's a disclaimer that no minor should play this game. That there is warnings. Please read them if you want to play the game. It is that these characters do horrible stuff. That there's dark themes in here. So yeah, I'm gonna proceed because I do know that this is fiction. We're not rowdy. Yes. It was many a year ago, in a camp by the sea. That maiden there lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. Day 1, the beloved. And a class to miss. By our next meeting, I need a full report on everyone's poem that they have chosen. I will not proceed. I will not accept one paragraph. I need 2 whole pages filled with words. Everyone got that. Totally. Words. Does it have to be about the poem now? The classroom broke into a series of yes, professor, before some spared no time in packing up their things, eager to be dismissed, and disregarding the teacher altogether. Your literature teacher packs up her own things and exits the classroom. The moment your literature teacher left, the classroom broke into small groups, as each student gathered up to meet their respective cliques. Some engaging in conversation, while some spared no time in exiting the classroom. A yawn escaped your lips. You turn your head and observe the clouds outside. The clouds are shaded in a dark gray. The sky, once blue color, is now turning the same lighter shade of gray. The looming threat of rain made you click your tongue in irritation. Just my luck, I didn't bother to bring an umbrella too. Standing up from your seat, you were about to grab your bag when you feel a tap on your shoulder. Turning around, you came face to face with the cobalt blue eyes. Her blonde hair, shaped like swirls, and the ends dyed in blue and pink, accompanying her entire ensemble, even if it was just a white button-up that clearly looks too small on her. Hot pink jacket tied around her wrist, and a skull's black skirt. Her hand, which you assume was the one that trapped your shoulder, hung up in the air. She seems unsure whether to continue or not, judging from the way her eyebrows furrowed downward, while biting her glossed lower lip. She turned slightly, her head not fixed on you, but rather on whoever is behind her. You hear her whisper something under her breath before eventually composing herself and turning her focus solely on you now. Hey, you're going to lunch with us, right? I mean, Brittany, you, first you need to, introduce yourself. I mean, you should. I don't usually see you in the cafeteria often, so you must not be eating properly. How can you keep up with classes looking like that? Excuse me? You look down, you step back, hunching the strap of your bag as you glare at the blonde woman before you. Who was this woman? Who does she think she is? Judging from the woman's expression, she finally came to realize the words that came out of her mouth. Brittany, a familiar voice interrupted the two of you. You turn your head to where the voice was, and there stood no other than your old friend. Crowe! That's really insensitive of you. Imagine if someone else told you about how you look. His finger orbs of blue, nearly replicating Rapparous Azurus, and his chocolate brown hair tied loosely in a boa braid. Sun-kissed skin enhanced his handsome features, adored with black, long-sleeve button-up and an indigo vest to add to his clean look. He's known as Drasho Ichbod. Crowe, for short, the class representative and a close friend of yours. Well, the only close friend you have. Crowe made his way to your side. With a hand on his hip, he recognized the blonde-haired woman next to you, and the woman said woman just shrugged her shoulders. He placed a hand over your beating heart. The close proximity between you two caused a blush to appear on your cheeks. No matter how many times you get close to him, or him getting near you, you never get used to it. His whole aurora just gives you a warm feeling in you, the butterflies in your stomach, thrashing and raging, begging to be released. Yeah, you may have a bit of a crush on him. The woman named Brittany just rolled her eyes, seemingly used to Crowe's reptiles. Well, you're the one who insisted on me initiating talk. You could have done it more nicely, like a simple invite. Yeah, Brittany. I mean, I am small myself, but it is kind of rude. I had a lady that literally asked me if I even ate because I was so skinny. She was having me help her out because she couldn't lift something, and she kept this all on me. The funny thing is, she was skinnier than I was. Crowe gives you a small smile while handing you something to you. You looked down to see it. It was your ID. You dropped this, by the way. Your name? Just a wave. Okay, I can't. Yeah. Your last name? Stark. ID shows my name, Digital Wave Stark, along with my pronouns. She, her. You stare at your ID picture and see yourself more feminine. Use feminine terms, and it'll be called girl, woman. You look at your ID picture, seeing a young woman, and ring your name with your eyes. Digital Wave Stark, pronouns she, her. Yes. Your fingers briefly brush against his. You bit your lip, then mutter a small thank you before pocketing your school ID. Crowe gives you a close-eyed smile, returning with his own thank you, then turns his attention back towards Brittany. Following up behind Brittany are 3 more people. The tallest one of the 3 is a sportsy-looking man clad in a green-yellow jersey with number 10 spelled in front. His eyes, a bright green, the color of that kind of reminds you of green apples. His skin is beautiful, brown, and nearly matches his curly hair with a subtle stubble is nestled on his chin, indicating his maturity. Daryl, and he's totally not really mature, but he has it grows in our way. The second tallest is a man in purple hoodie. His eyes are sharp and slanted, with long lashes adorned with teal-colored orbs underneath. His hair straight, styled in a human cut, save for a short strand tied with a red ribbon and a low ponytail, bound with the same shade of red behind him. He looks uninterested with what is going on at the very moment. And last but not least is the shortest of the 3, maybe within the group as well. Her skin pale, her face dotted with a few freckles, thin and there, as rectangular-shaped frames. shield away orange orbs. Her hair short and loose like waves. She's wearing a black button-up under an orange vest and black skirt matching Brittany's. Damn, Britt, you sure are bad at socializing. Hey, Gio, looks like you have competition. Gio's was still worse. No offense to him. The tall the tall jock. The tall jock, clad in yellow and green sports jerseys, lets out a loud laugh, causing some students to turn to look at him. Brittany's face grew red from embarrassment, gritting her teeth. She crossed her arms while trapping her foot in the ground. The only made the jock laugh even harder. Oh, excuse me. Shut the hell up, Daryl. You're causing a scene. I think I said it, but shut up, Daryl. You're causing a scene. Also, if you were me, you'd have done just as badly. That is in fact not true. Yeah, Daryl's more fun. Daryl probably say something, but he would be saying with a smile on his face. I'm a lovable guy. Oh yeah. As the two are you turn your head towards the other tall male in the hoodie. Sensing your gaze, he looks down at you, his hand still in his hoodie pocket. A sun chill went down your spine. You quickly avert your gaze away from the opposing male and landing on the meek girl in orange right beside Brittany. Aw. I wonder if she still has a crush on Brittany in this version. She hasn't spoken since she arrived with the two males. But judging from how attached she is to Brittany, you're assuming she's closer to her than the rest of the group. She kind of reminds you of yourself when you were still new to the school with no one to talk to. Not until Crowe befriended you, of course. Were you as clingy to Crowe back then as she is with Brittany now? Sorry, they're kind of a roundy bunch, huh? I hope you're not too overwhelmed. They sure are something. Look, Digawave, you still free not to join us for lunch if you're uncomfortable. Meeting new people is overwhelming. I just want to let you know that I respect your feelings and that you matter, Digawave. Crowe assures you with a worried smile on his lips. You turn back to the group, the tall jock named Daryl, now bothering Gio, with an arm around his shoulder. The visible irritation on Gio's face did nothing to sway Daryl's happy-go-lucky personality. Brittany leaned on one of the desks with her arms crossed, striking a conversation with the bi-spectacle girl next to her. What's her name? I didn't seem to catch it last time. Crowe glanced at where you pointed at. Oh, Jess? You call her Jess for short. She's best friends with Brittany. She kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. All shy and quiet. Only that you're cuter. Aw. Crowe pinches your cheek playfully, and you groan. But your mock annoyance is betrayed by a small smile that's formed on your lips. How time flies, huh? That's right. You got yourself acquainted with Crowe in your sophomore year. Before you left for the city, your father emphasized the importance of having companions and establishing friendships, most especially in this college. Olympias University, the largest university in Giant City. It's known for having the best facilities and the best education, where you guaranteed to rise from the bottom to the top. Oh, that's what the advertisement tells you. You try getting to know people during your first year, but to no avail. No matter how much you tried to make friends, you just couldn't seem to bring yourself to talk to anyone. To your dismay, no one seemed to bother to even befriend you. Sure, you would talk to a few classmates for projects, but nothing goes beyond that. As if they're scared of you. Or more, like disgusted. You can never tell. The looks you receive have been mixed signals. From some bad, somehow pity. That is until Crowe came into the picture. Among everyone, Crowe was the sole person who approached you with the intention of friendship. You were wary of him at first. Why would someone want to befriend you out of nowhere? Your past experience caused your suspicion. You had a history with people who tried to earn your good graces because you were somehow beneficial to them. You thought Crowe would be the same case, but you ignored him. But then he kept following you, kept striking a conversation with you every now and then. You tried to dismiss him, ignoring his presence as usual, but Crowe was determined to break down your walls and keep insisting on tagging along until he annoyed you once. Just once. That is until it happened on the last day of your first trimester in a sophomore year. You fell victim to one of the school's biggest hidden flaws. If Crowe wasn't there to stop you, you could not begin to imagine what might have happened to you. Thank goodness you're unharmed. You're concerned about me? How about you? You're the one who's hurt. Thinking back, you thought he was crazy and stupid. Taking blow after blow from the perpetrators. Got bored and left the both of you. Well, that's the whole point, right? As long as you're not hurt, this is nothing. You're crazy, you know that? He just laughs it off, wincing due to the bruises on his face. I never got your name, crazy person. It's Jeshurashabad. But just call me Crowe. Nice to meet you, Crowe. I'm Digital Wave. You brought him to the clinic that day and became inseparable ever since. Right after the incident, Crowe promised to never get in fights again, and continues to keep his word on it. You really owe it to him. You look back at Crowe. He tilts his head. Something on your mind, Digital Wave? Nothing. Just happy that you're my friend. Ah. He looks at you with raised eyebrows, probably surprised at how random you thought to seem. He didn't say anything as he lets your words sink in, and his usual gentle smile appears on his face. Crowe inched closer to you, indicating that he feels the same way. Brittany must have taken notice to the amount of time wasted in talking and arguing as she turns to you one last time. We talked a little too much. We'll end up not getting any seats if we keep this up. Yeah, or no, we're stay. We're gonna get in a food fight. So are you coming with us or not? Caught up in your little daydream about the past, Brittany finally spoke up, catching your attention. You look back at Crowe, recalling his words. Don't force yourself to join if you're still uncomfortable. You decide to go with them. Brittany hummed in a sound of content before turning her heel and heading towards the classroom exit, her three other friends following behind her. Crowe looked back at you by the door, waiting for you. Catching up, you raise your head to meet his blue orbs once more. Your heartbeat quickens within your ribcage in response. You two stop ogling your chair and hurry up. Brittany's execration made the both of you jump. She's just like side-eyeing us. You really look down, using your hair as a curtain to hide your reddened face. Crowe just rubbed the back of his neck. You two eventually fall behind Brittany and the rest of the group towards the cafeteria. The cafeteria is loud and crowded. Tables are filled with students, while the rest are lined up by the counter grabbing their lunches. A groan escaped Brittany's lips as she looks around for any sign of vacant tables you all could share. What a great time not to bring lunch, huh? Next time I'm bringing my lunch the night before. I wonder why it's so crowded today. New lunch menu, perhaps? Ew, seems like it. Or everyone's hungry. I'll be left with nothing else if we keep standing around here and loiter. Hey, Daryl. Yes? Oh, yes. What is it, Your Royal Majesty? Daryl cooed with a teasing tone. Brittany rolled her eyes as a silly gesture. Could you two look for a vacant spot while the rest of us line up? Save us time that way. Yeah, sure, Britt. Let's go, Geo. Wrapping an arm around Geo's shoulder, while ignoring his obvious irritation from said male, the two walk away in hopes of looking for an unoccupied table. Bernie then turns to you. Oh, right, Digitwave. I'm not sure if you have packed anything with those two, like those two did, but if you want to line up with us or go help them find a table, make a choice. You decide that. I'm just gonna say I have my lunch. It's not gonna change. I have lunch. Oh, that's good. Well, you join those two goons and wait for us. All right. Brittany gives you a nod and waves you off. Churning on her heel, she quickly makes her way to the line, with Jess following behind her. You want me to get you anything, Digitwave? No, it's fine. You won't get anything for yourself if you keep idling by. Crowe's shoulders shook at your statement, laying off a soft and hearty chuckle as a smile made its way to his handsome features. He turns around, giving you a wave, then follows behind the two girls, hoping to make it in line with them. As for you, you made your way to where Geo and Daryl's were. It seems like they managed to find a vacant spot, as you saw them currently seated on the table, on a round table, merely cleaning up after the group of students who previously occupied the space. Once seated, the two boys took out what seemed to be their individual packaged lunches. Before Geo had a very enticing bento box. The contents inside look as expensive looking as its container. Well, Daryl only has free sandwiches he took out from his paper bag. Your food always looks so good, Geo. I bet they taste just as good too. I've never had this one, so... Wait. Mind if I take one? No. Geo said with a flat tone, slapping the jock's hand away from his bento box. Daryl pouted, rubbing his hand before returning to his own sandwich. As you sat down across the two boys, Geo kept his eye on you for quite a while, his gaze unweaving as he chewed his lunch. What's up with this guy? Size me up. You and Geo stare at each other for a good and uncomfortable minute, just as you were about to open your mouth to ask what the guy's deal is. Daryl's eyes went wide as he finally took notice of your presence in the table. Oh, right, Digitwave, correct. What did you bring for lunch? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, that is. Sharing what food I have, or sharing the food itself? Why not both? As long as you're willing to share. Unlike this guy over here. Geo only rolled his eyes when the jock nudged his shoulder. Don't bother with Daryl. He'll take your lunch even if you don't give him any. Hey now, I'm not that cruel. I'm pretty sure that means he's Mucky Luffy right here of the group. Say that to Brittany's lunch that you took yesterday. Jess was kind enough to give her lunch to her state. I was hungry. Not my fault. Coach had to make me do 3 laps around the field. Daryl, it's her food. While the two bicker on like children, you let out a small chuckle, eating the sandwich you took out of your own container. Maybe these guys aren't so bad as you thought they might be. Then, at the corner of your eye, you notice Brittany's familiar wavy blonde hair making its way to your table until it is no other than Jess and Crowe, each with their own trays of food. Move your butt aside, Daryl. I'm saying here. A loud gasp escaped Brittany's lips. Her mouth opened wide shock. The food in her tray is now splattered across her white uniform. Brittany! Oops, sorry about that. You should watch where you're going there. Multiple footsteps came near. A trio of girls showed themselves before you. The tallest of the bunch, the red-haired one, placed a hand over her heart. Place a hand over where her heart is and lets out a mocking gasp at the mess. Brittany's eyes met with the red-haired bully. Judging from the way Brittany's face twisted in rage, they seemed to know each other. Okay, she's the school bully. One of the school's bullies. Britt, are you alright? We should get yourself cleaned. You. Butthole. This is my only clean uniform. How dare you? Oh, look at Miss Claire all flared up. Careful there, sweetie. You'll get wrinkles. I can't really do it in a meaner voice. It's like you're not ugly. It's not like you're not ugly already. Damn. She's good. I don't blame them for doing the food fight for her. The mean girl coos at Brittany. Her own friends behind her laugh along with her antics. You got a bad feeling about this. The entire cafeteria breaks in a few murmurs of whispers, their attention now fixated on the group of girls. Some stopped eating some took out their phones, ready to film to whatever happens next. Technology. Crowe tried to come in between the two them to stop the fight, but he wasn't fast enough. Splat. Next thing we know, another loud gasp was heard. A wide smile etched itself on Brittany's face. The mean girl's white uniform. Oh, not white, that's pink. Now smeared with varieties of wet sauces and oils, matching Brittany's own dirtied uniform. Jess's face filled with shock. The food from her tray is now gone. Take that. You. Butthole. I have to say food fight. I just have to say butthole because I cannot say it because of YouTube. The moment Daryl, how those words, the cafeteria went into a hectic frenzy. Food and drinks started flying across the area as each student started tossing whatever they had on their they could get their hands on. It's all fun and games until someone grabs the table and starts throwing the table around. Chairs, trays, which is spoilers. Are those trays? Did you wave? Everyone stop this madness at once. A sudden wave of pain made its way to your head, and the last thing you saw was Crowe calling out your name before passing out. Where am I? Oh, you're awake, thank goodness. Crowe? You tried to sit up, but a sudden shot of pain went through your head. It stopped you. You reached out to touch where the H was coming from, but Crowe stopped you by holding onto your wrist. Careful now, the nurse already bandaged your head. Don't push yourself. Was it bleeding? Because I don't think you need to bandage the head if I'm not bleeding from the tray. Maybe a bump, but I mean, you don't bandage a bump. Crowe gently pushed you back down on the medical bed. He takes a long stool and takes a seat right next to you. What happened? Well, after Daryl started that mess of a food fight, the principal was called in to stop it. Daryl got lucky enough to escape when he did. Gia was nowhere to be seen. As for Brittany, what about her? Well, Jess helped her out to grab a new uniform from the principal's office. Then why does my head hurt so much? Someone somehow threw a tray, and you were unfortunate enough to be hit by it. Thankfully, I got you out of there before things got ugly. Thanks, Crowe. I owe you one. I'm always there for you, Digitwave. Never forget that. Anyway, it's around 1:45 in the afternoon right now. I should probably head out to my next class. You should stay here until the nurse gets back. You'll be alright alone here, right? You wanted to say no, but stopped yourself before you could. Yes. You could go ahead. You sure? Yes, I'll be fine, Crowe. You've done enough for me today. You gave him a small smile, but he did not return it. Crowe squeezes your hand, quite hesitant to let you go. Eventually, he loses his grip. He stands up from his chair and walks towards the exit. Before he could leave, he turns around and gave you one last smile, eventually closing the door and going out of the infirmary. You're going to lay back down on the bed, feeling the bandage on your head. At least the pain's slowly dying a bit. Hope it didn't leave a mark on my head. You're guessing you came face to face with the edges of one of the metallic trays. Since when did trays hurt this much? Since they were metal? Then again, there were athletes in the area, Daryl being one of them. Just then, you heard the door open. The school's nurse echoed through the room as the clicking of her heels got louder as she drew closer. The school nurse entered and followed her was a tall student dressed in black. He seemed to be holding onto his left hand. You could see the red streak of blood overflowing. That looks bad. He sure had it worse than me. Yeah, and I know what happened thanks to the last rat we did. I wonder what happened. You should be thankful it didn't cut a vein. How were you able to get past with a pocket knife in the first place? It wasn't his pocket knife. The school nurse sighed. It seemed like she got her hands full with another student. The waiter, however, did not say anything as he let out a small hiss when the nurse dabbed some disinfectant on his wound. He sat up slowly, careful not to sit on your head or anything else before stealing a glance on the student and the nurse. Your eyes meet the reddish orange ones. Your heart raced as you feel the heartbeat quicken. One unusual knit color. They remind me of a setting sun. The nurse finishes up wrapping around his wound, a blotch of red slowly seeping out and staining the once white bandage. However, his gaze is still fixed on you. Yep, he's like, what happened? Who do I have to kill? That's what he's thinking. The nurse follows his line of sight and finally takes notice of your conscious figure. Oh, you're finally awake, Miss Stark. She approached you with a bottle of painkillers. She took one from one of the transparent cabinets on the walls before handing a pill to you. I think I need more than that. How are you feeling, dear? Does your head still hurt? It's slowly dissipating, ma'am. Thank you. She hands you the pill, and you take it down your throat. I need water first. You're free to stay here for a while longer, Miss Stark, but you need to return to your class as soon as you're feeling better. Stays in there at the entire time. He gave the nurse a nod. She in return hums in approval before going back down to the taller male in black. As for you, Mr. Bergamasia, if your bandage gets dirty throughout the day, don't hesitate to come back to me, and I'll reapply it with a new roll. The taller male hummed. He turns on his heel and makes his way towards the exit before pausing. I'll return to my class now. Thanks for patching me up, nurse. The tall student gives you one last look of his fiery red eyes before making his exit with a click of the door. The nurse lets out a sigh, rubbing her temples, feeling a headache surfacing. I swear that child comes here every other day. Him? Oh, you're not a classmate of Mr. Bergamasia? Odd, I thought he might know you from the way he was looking at you. He knows me. He's my stalker. No. No. I haven't seen him around. More like he never bothered to look who is around you, since no one would even bother to spare a glance at you. Well, either way, don't get into much trouble like him, alright? That raises a question in your head. Just how bad were the guy's energies that he come to the nurse's office almost every other day? It kind of explains why she's been sighing hard even since she brought the tall male into her office. With an injury as bad as the near stab wound on the palm, you could only take a wild guess. And as much as you are curious to know what transpired, you're nearly late for your next class. Eyeing the clock on the top of the doorframe, you got up out of the medical bed. You thanked the nurse and made your way out of her office. Barely making it to your next class, you slid the classroom door open, earning you a few looks from your students inside the room. Turning to the podium, you exhale a breath that you didn't realize you were holding when you realized your teacher was still absent. Fixing your composure, you scan the room, a few easels and shelves filled with brushes and bottles. Strained with quick paint, guaranteed that you made it to the right class. You make your way to your seat. Once settled down, you groan, placing your elbows on the desk and resting your chin on top of your hands, waiting patiently for your professor's arrival. Though you couldn't help but notice a feeling of someone staring at you. You shook it off, thinking that it must have been the lack of sleep. You look out the window. Or maybe it's a cold weather. Hearing the classroom door open, your art professor makes his way inside, his large round belly standing out, round spectacles sitting on top of his nose, and a stereotypical brown beret on his head. He's one of those teachers. He greets the class before Stan is starting his lecture. Art exhibit project featuring various areas of art as part of our thesis. This time we're tasked with expressionism. Remember, this is all part of your paper, and not to mention making a name for yourself, of course. Oh, sir. Everyone needs art. Needs to do art for their their minor, like um, what do you call it, degree. I have one, and I still forgot the name. More like taking the credit of the student's work and using it as advertisement. To advertise your crappy school. You scoff at the thought. Hope you all got a partner already by this time. For this term, I'm tasking you all to create free works based on the exhibit's theme. This is where you want to throw your desk out the window. How could you forget? You weren't present during the previous meeting, and you absolutely knew no one in the Pacific class. Why were you taking art again? Oh right, your father was an artist as he was a farmer. It was all for him, and maybe you can make a name for yourself with your works if ever your life as a gardener wouldn't turn out the way it should. All part of plan B, and if it fails, I got plan C is C and D. I haven't yet to made up the rest, or guess I'll die. You make away your silly thoughts. The program is now at hand. The problem is now at hand. You do not have a partner to work with. Yeah, we do. Let's find them. Now I want you all to go to your chosen partner for this project, so I can start explaining your task. Eventually, you are forced out of your seat, since your seatmate's partner will be occupying it for the class. You curse at the thought. You could only hope that you're not the only student who didn't get their own partner for this class. I had to take my glasses off. But upon looking around, it looks like everyone is calm and collected. Were you the only one panicking here? Unlike the rest of the class scurrying around to meet their partner, you were the only fool who was standing still. No, I'm the only one standing, because from the corner of the classroom, there was a single student not bothering to stand up from their seat. Their seatmate had left to pair with someone else, leaving a vacant spot. It's the guy from the clinic. I never knew he was in the same class as me. Is he not going to bother with his partner? Unless... Hey... Wait. Hey there. He looks up from the desk and looks at your approaching form, before you eventually stand next to him. It's you. It seems like you're a bit lost there. Do you have a partner? No. Well, just your luck then. Me neither. So, do you want to be partners? Sure, why not? You took the vacant seat right beside him. His book, now tucked away and on his desk, is now a pen and piece of paper, seemingly ready to take notes. Hey, I never got to know your name. It's not quite important. Well, I can't. I should at least know what I'm gonna call you instead of Green Streak Guy. He raised a brow at your silly nickname he gave him before slightly shaking his head. Sullivan Burger Miasia. But just call me Soul. Soul. Okay, I never said that, but I know it's gonna get him mad. Soul means sun or brightness, right? Soul nods, rubbing the back of his head. You could say that. My mother gave me that name. It's a lovely name. Thanks. Well, I'm Digital Wave Stark. Nice to finally know you, know your name, Soul. Soul nods with a smile forming in his lips, then returning his attention back to the professor. Free artworks to showcase. No, it has to be some form of expressionism. Mediums will be strictly traditional. Your professor then proceeds to give other partners for your project before relieving you and the rest of the class for the day. This walks out. Everyone in the class proceeds to talk with their partners, already brainstorming ideas on what they're going to showcase and hopefully could get a higher grade. Here to the soul, and he took out his own charcoal pencil and his sketch pad for the class. You got any plans for our first display, Soul? Expressionism is about covering one's feelings, right? The uses for now is a portrait. I'll use your face as an example. My face? He lets out a low chuckle. There, you're making a cute expression right now. That could be considered as expressionism. Huh. Oh, but I have this bandage on my face. Wouldn't that hinder the process? You recall the events that happened back in the cafeteria. I can simply ignore it, or make something better out of it. I'll say ignore it. Trust the process. He seems like he already has an idea on what to do. And judging from the half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the concept of art. Me, however, am not that great at art. I'm sure you're fine. Everyone starts somewhere. Plus, I can't really judge you since I haven't seen your work before. Although, along with the damaged energy in my hand. Alright, let's not stress that hand anymore. Well, be prepared to be amazed at my amazing, art skills. My Weston Stellar's art skills. That's the spirit. Draw a stick figure. With a top hat. With a newfound determination from Soul's sharing, you took out your own sketch pad and charcoal pencil as you worked with his portrait. While you kept sketching up, you can't help but avert your eyes on his bandaged hand from time to time. Seems you're quite curious to know what happened to this, huh? And you weren't slick with it either. You froze when he caught you red-handed, just like the red sleeping out of his hand. You stopped drawing. Sorry, that was rude of me. It's fine. This is just usual for me. I got worse energies than this. You raise a brow at that. Not the worse. These people are mean. If you don't mind me asking, what happened? He paused and averted his eyes, not open to speak. Nothing much. Just minding my own business, got assaulted. Yep, that's how it happened. Had to defend myself. He talked as if it was another normal Monday for him. Your eyes furrowed. He noticed and just chuckled. No need to worry about me. All that matters is that I'm still here. He didn't say anything, however, continuing on with your drawing, your movement slow, and now refusing to look at his injured hand. The skull was way more messed up than I thought it would be. The sound of the skull bell rang across the classroom and through the hallway. You quickly made a few more lines on your portrait before giving up. You close your pad and proceed to shove it inside your backpack, earning you a confused look on your partner's face. Not even going to show me what you made? It's not done yet. That's never bothered me. Can I see it? Wait. How about a small deal? I'll show it to you once I'm done with the portrait, and you still need to draw me once your injured hand gets better. Sounds like a plan? You say with a wide grin on your face, trying your best to convince the male. Yeah, he doesn't want to look at the stick figure with the top hat that he made. He stares at your face for a short moment before eventually leaning back on his chair, arms crossed, and nods along with your deal. Packing your things, you and Soul continue out to the hallway. Do you have a phone? We could exchange numbers and update each other so we can do the next two more projects. Soul then takes out his own phone and asks for your number. You recite it out to him out as he inputs it on his phone. Let me try to send you a message. You nod and looked at your phone screen and saw a new notification from an unknown number. It must be Souls. So, you type so differently from how you look. What's that even supposed to mean? From the corner of your eye, you see Soul's eyebrows raised at your text. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. You chuckle. He rolls his eyes. A stare lingers on Soul's face. A smile is embedded in his handsome features while he looks at the block of text in his phone. You bit the bottom of your lip as you recall the events that happened today. Mostly meeting new people. First, formerly meeting Crowe's group, and now, meeting Soul. Back then, you struggled to make friends throughout college, so you were convinced you would be graduating without making a single connection, which would undoubtedly disappoint your father, and you were ready for it. You thought to yourself, these are odd people, eccentrics at most. All misunderstood people, all human, all the same. A sudden wave of determination washed over you. With a hand on your chest, you stare into Soul's orbs, making him tilt his head slightly. Soul, I want to be friends with you. I can sense the people tend to misunderstand you and your overall personality. Yeah, they look at his clothes and go, he asking away, and probably knowing that he's yandere. That's a safe call. Soul is quiet, but his gaze remains on you with a lingering curiosity. But let me be different. I want to know you. I want to understand you, Soul. If you let me. He blinks once, then twice, then a chuckle. He turns a large hand on the top of your head, then ruffles your hair. All right then. Let's mark today as the start of a wonderful friendship. Digital Wave Stark. You playfully push his hand off your head, and nudge him on the shoulder. He lets out a small laugh at your poor attempt. As to you too, Sylvan, Burger Mashia. Just Soul is fine, Digital Wave. Well, I need to get going. See you tomorrow. Oh, of course. See you tomorrow, Digital Wave. Giving Soul a wife goodbye, you make your way towards the school's exit. My darling, my sweet, darling Digital Wave. See you later, pumpkin. As you walk through the hallway, your eyes caught on something on the nearby bulletin board. A poster was plastered on the large board. The Hallows Ball. Come enjoy the festive spirit of Hallows Eve. A Halloween party? Huh. Seems promising. A sudden vibration came from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Soul. It was from Crowe. Your heart leaped from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier this afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be at the front gate. You didn't send a reply. You turn off your phone and click in major haste to the exit. You approach the school's gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. There he is. Sure enough, there stood Crowe, in all his glory, posture straight, from his arms held behind his back, his bag neatly placed on the floor, and his foot tapping on the concrete floor nervously. You yourself were growing nervous with each step you took as you drew closer and closer to him. When you reached his side and made your presence known with a small greeting, you noticed the way Crowe's eyebrows raised in mid-surprise, as if not expecting you to actually show up before him. He cleared his throat before composing himself properly. his body now facing in your direction. You want to see me? Yes, lifting up his bag from the floor, he slides a strap over his shoulder and offers his hand for you to take. I'd like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead you if you want to let me. I'm gonna take his arm this time. You didn't take his outstretched hand, or rather boldly wrapped around your arm around his, earning a look of surprise from his blue eyes. He did not question you on the matter, but a wide smile made its way to his features, while a slight blush dusted his cheeks. He holds on to your arm tight and leads the both of you away from the school's grounds. By the time you and Crowe made it to the park, it was already sundown, and stars slowly started painting the sky. Is this the place you were trying to lead me to, Crowe? Not quite yet. Come here. You follow him through the thicket of the bushes, surprised to see stony stars. Though it's a bit run down, it still seems sturdy to step on. To step a foot. Looking up, you see it leads somewhere above. You and Crowe make your way to the stony stairs, some red and orange leaves covering the steps. As you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. I'm ready to sneeze. I'm like, okay, stop. So I stopped, like, pause, sneeze, and it's like, nah, that was a false alarm. You're here. We're here. Come on. It's a sight to behold. Taking one last step, you and Crowe admire whatever was beyond him. His smile brightened as his eyes twinkle like the stars above. Your eyes went wide in awe upon seeing the scenery before you, replicating the one Crowe has on his face. Not once did you take this conversation into the consideration the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidating even. You couldn't blame yourself for feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one else within the city to guide you. But gazing at the sea of lights that stretched out before you made you realize that you had been missing much of what the city has to offer. Looking further ahead, you take a notice of the tall tower decorated with bright neon pink lights. A little bit to its right is a movie theater next to a mall. The rows of other buildings with multicolored lights seeming endless. The more you scan the area, the more you see unfamiliar places that you did not know existed. Your moment of silence, then, while admiring the city's view, was interrupted by the sound of rustling grass. You turn around, find the source of the sound. Crowe has made himself comfortable, lying on the ground under an old tree. You see his backpack laying on its trunk. You turn your back from the city and walk to where Crowe lay, deciding to keep him company. He gazes on the starry sky, shifts to you as you sit down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Yep. Wait, I need to see. So we got him free. Judging from your face, all lighting up, you like this place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you gave Crowe a slight nod that brought joy to his eyes. You stretch a bit and lay on your back next to him, your fingers barely touching. You and Crowe look at the night sky. You observe how the stars twinkle as if the rain from the morning didn't happen. How did you manage to find this place? You tilt your head to look at him, and he gives you a closed-eyed chuckle before his tinkling gaze meets yours. I take it that you never heard of Lily's myth, have you, Digitwave? Lily's myth? Crowe points at the old tree that stood above you, then returns his gaze to his stars. They say this tree was a tree that the humans came in contact with was blessed by the gods that guard the land. This very same tree here used to bear multiple fruits. They say that they will never rot and are free for anyone to take. So what's the most popular interpretation says anyway? There's our versions of the myth. Crowe shrugs his shoulders, moving his gaze from the sky above to the trees. He stares at it as if trying to decipher something just by the mere look of it. There are other versions, yes. Some say the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it's only meant for the gods and no human must take from it. At least they be cursed. That sounds pretty gruesome. Gruesome would be, blood, though. That poison and curse doesn't sound gruesome to me. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crowe lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit, as if agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. Hey, Digitwave. He pauses before speaking again. You perk an eyebrow at him. Yeah? This seems like a silly question. No? Lay on me. Tell me what it is. Do you believe in gods? The question caught you by surprise. You never thought of Crowe as a religious type, more so, be interested in gods, or maybe he's just curious by the idea of them. Maybe the best moment to know for sure. I do. They are the very beings that blessed our lands and soil. Back in my hometown, we would go to worship our village's patron goddess, church, and play for a good harvest. You recall the visits to the village temple with your father. Being regulars, you visit enough to the point where you became friends with some of the others. With some of those who reside within the church. Every time you drop by to worship, you and your father would offer your healthiest crops to thank your patron. You haven't gone to church in a while, probably because the city doesn't have a church for your patron entity. Your goddess had more followers near your village, all the way to the south. Crowe gives you a nod of understanding. How about you? Do you believe in gods? You turn to Crowe, repeating the same question he asked you earlier. He scans your face, your eyes, your nose, then your lips. His lingering gaze made you shriek back. Your heart fluttering slightly, Crowe seems to realize something to himself as he returns his attention to the stars above, sighing. I don't. This surprises you, and Crowe laughs at you, visible shock and confusion. Like just said, I didn't think he believed in that stuff. What? You don't think I'm a non-believer? If I had to be honest, no. Why so? You kinda dress like a priest. Crowe's blue eyes grew wide as he broke out into one of the loudest laughs you have heard from him. He laughed so hard that he had to clench his stomach and wipe at the tears straying corners of his eyes. He was still chuckling when he unbuttoned the first 2 studs of his black polo, revealing more of his collarbone to you. You quickly avert your eyes, finding the tree leaves to be very interesting at the moment as you feel a familiar heat rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal? For crying out loud, Ichabod. It feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time. Crowe grins at your reaction. It took the both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with his teasing and your ripping him before you finally calmed down. The next few moments were spent with you playing at the stars and Crowe teaching you the constellations with a gentle whisper-like voice. Wouldn't I be the one to teach him constellations because I was the one that didn't live near the city? You both fell silent, basking in the peace of the night. As the silence prolonged, Crowe fell deep in thought. About today, Jidwife, about the guys. So we're moving into this conversation next, huh? I got to be honest. Daryl put me up on this little hangout while I was feeling down on the dumps. I think I do have to thank him for forcing me to actually give me the courage to talk to you after class. He was out of breath. He didn't know he was refusing to meet your eyes. I just don't know if I'm upsetting you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Digitwave. You bit your lip. You suspected that you might have upset Crowe by making him think you did not like the group's presence at all, and that he's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing to know about Crowe is that he never is the type to demand, to control, or to be king, to be a tyrant. You didn't do anything wrong, Crowe. In fact, I should be the one to apologize. You speak up without thinking. Crowe turns his head to look at you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to upset you. What's funny is, it kind of does not make sense when you actually hang out with them and get to know them, because I would have had, in this version, they're not that bad at all. You swallow a lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were spraying to spill. I just thought you'd forget about me after. They're amazing people. Brittany's pretty. Daryl's a funny guy. Gio's so cool and just as loyal. They're a great group. And most important, you're amazing, Crowe. You're all amazing. But not me. I'm just not sure if I could ever be a part of that group, of the group. You're always hidden in the shadows, no matter how much you tried to fit in. You were never to be considered. People treated you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You are worth nothing but extra. That's what she always tells you. Who's telling me that? You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escapes your lips, your vision slowly boring as you feel wet droplets of tears finally sliding down your cheek from your eyes. For a moment, you saw panic in Crowe's expression, seemingly not expecting you to burst into tears. He reaches out to hold your hand, and suddenly you feel a pair of arms circling around you as he pulls you closer to him, laying you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing, but rubbing a hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring about his clothes getting wet from your tears. Once you calm down, Crowe rests his hand on your back, not letting you out of his embrace. You're amazing, Digitwave. I'm sorry I never get to tell you that no matter how many times I thought of it, I just couldn't seem to find the words. Oral confession. But you're amazing in your own way, Digiwave. You may not know it, but you're beautiful, you're funny, you're quite phenomenal. You could feel vibrations coming from his chest, from the chuckle he emits. Heck, you're the funniest person I know. All I'm saying, Digiwave, is that you're amazing. You had no idea how much tears you shed right tonight. Sometimes you think it's silly and childish to cry over what was probably a trivial matter to some, but the urge to sob returned after hearing those words from him. Do you want me to call you the Amazing Spider-Man, just to prove that you are amazing? No. That made you giggle a bit as you wipe your tear-stained cheeks. Well, whatever strength you could muster, you slowly pull away and lift yourself up. You sit yourself up, hovering over Crowe. And there you see the very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing. So what did I do to make him... Was it saying no? Okay, probably. And there you see a very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing. His braid came loose, and he didn't know when, but his hair pulled around his head. Crowe stares at you with those serene eyes, remained silent as a gentle smile plastered on his face. There was nothing but moon illuminating his tender features, yet your vision, he seems to glow. He's absolutely beautiful. Oh, how you wish you could blame everything on him. If you could tell him that he's the reason for all the unnecessary feelings swelling in your chest. You tell him exactly how good and bad it feels, the heartaches and the butterflies fluttering about your stomach. You want to blame him, but you can't. Hug him. You didn't feel as bad as before, but your vessel is not completely empty yet. Somehow you just look at Crowe as at the comfort he brought you, made you want to break it longer until you were sure he had no more tears left to shed. Laying down once more, you bury your face in the crook of his neck, and his arms instantly wrap around you. His hug warm and smoothing as he waits for you to gather your thoughts. Crowe rubs circles on your back, a silent way of telling you that he was there for you. You were not alone, and that he will be there whenever you need him. He didn't say a word, understanding that you need silence more than anything right now. You couldn't thank him enough for always knowing when what you needed. You have no idea exactly how long you remained in the brace while trying, laying down on the grass, but you feel a lot better that you are ready to get back up on your feet. You pull away, meeting Crowe's eyes that seem to ask after your well-being. Fixing his collar, he turns to you. Are you good to go? You could read that just from his gaze. You nod silently, and it's only then that Crowe completely releases you from his brace, helping you sit up before he dusts off the grass that stuck to his shirt. He gives you a once over and gently swats away the leaves on your hair and clothes. You didn't blink at him. He only smiles at you. You sat up and Crowe retrieves his bag, almost forgotten by the tree. He looks back at you, taking your hand slightly. It's time to go. It was time to leave this magical place. You look at the stars and how brightly they shone. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away. Hand clasped tightly around Crowe's as you let him lead you home. Crowe walks you to your apartment, knowing that he kept you out late at night. You bid Crowe goodbye after he safely sees you inside. He gives you a wave before turning on his heel and making his way down the stairs. You close your apartment door and lean on it, heaving a puff of air. You recall the conversation you had with Crowe while you walked with him on the street leading to your home. I'm going to give the guys a chance. I think I judged them too quickly, which it doesn't really make sense because I didn't. It started actually when I talked to them in this version. I was like, oh, they're not that bad. I'll give them a chance in that part. So I want to do better. I want to get to know them better. If you trust them, then I trust them too. Crowe's expression was of surprise as your dedication, as you determined face with Rex on his orbs. Crowe chuckles at your enthusiasm, giving you a friendly pound on the back. I'm glad you made it, giving them a chance, did you, wife? I'm sure they'll be feeling the same. You engage in other conversations with Crowe during your walk, the topics not really being of any importance as you have forgotten them by now, save for his jealous voice and the occasional fond glance he steals at you. The time with Crowe seemed to pass by so quickly you arrive at your apartment complex before you knew it. You make your way... it's like talking to him, this time goes by. You made your way to the living room and you throw your school bag to a random corner, immediately popping down on your sofa as you turn on the small television. Nothing interesting is going to be going on, save for some food commercials and a movie trailers. That pizza looks good. Maybe I should order something. Reaching out to your pockets and taking out your phone, you are about to dial the numbers on the television when a new notification bubble popped up on your notification bar. It was a group chat you'd never seen before. After scrutinising it, you realized it was from Crowe, who added you in. It was a group chat with the rest of his friends. You opened it. Anyone want to go to the Halloween party this Friday? It's gonna be awesome. Aren't we all a bit too old for costume parties? Is it required? You two are no fun at all. They're two pieces of a pod. I won't go if it's not a school requirement. Much less of a waste of my time. Is it? No, it isn't. But it'll be a great and fun experience for all of us. I mean, we should loosen up a bit, you know? I agree with Crowe. Count me in. Pass. I got more important things to do than that party. Now, if you excuse me, I'm doing my task leftover. I'm doing my leftover task for tonight. Jill has gone offline. Geez, a stick in the mud as usual. How about you, Dijwive? Me? You want to join? It'll be fun. You were honestly surprised that they somehow remembered you. Checking your calendar for your phone, you didn't seem to have any plans in the near future. Or plans at all. You like to just spend your time in your apartment alone. Which that'll be me. I mean, sure. That's great to hear. Crowe seems happy about it. You giggled. That reminds you of something. Opening another chat, you tap in Soul's newly added contact and sent him a message by sending the image of the same poster Daryl sent. A Halloween party hosted by the school? Yeah. I'm not quite into parties. Oh? Oh, well, that's alright. Just asking, that's all. Soul's typing. Wait. If you're coming, then I'm coming as well. Really? Really. Do you plan on dressing up? I don't know, do you? I mean, it is a costume party, so why not? Well, I'll whip something up. I'll try to think of something then. Be the Batman to my Robin. You swear you could feel the smile behind those words. With a quick word of goodbye, you set your phone down when you heard your doorbell. That must be the food delivery. After you ate your dinner and prepared yourself for bed, you thought about the events that happened today. Meeting the group, meeting Soul, and most especially your little hangout with Crowe. Each and every moment is a special occasion on its own. Laying out a big yawn, you stretch your body. You're turned to your laundry, slowly piling up and scratch your head. I'll probably do laundry tomorrow. But for now, you pop yourself on the soft cushions of bed, getting into the comfortable position and slowly dozing off as you close your eyes, embarrassing sleep as the night goes on. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to be loved and be loved by me. The one who loves. I was a child, she was a child. In the kingdom by the sea. Day 2, the kingdom. The sun's setting by the horizon colors the grassy field into a golden orange as the wind made some strands of hair brush across your face. Or you can see the deal that we make again. Your ever-beloved home, the tall grass, the fresh air, the various farm animals that you and your family raised since you were but a mere child. You can't even imagine what was happening before you right now as a group of people came while they talked with your father. Your only family member left. You see the stress in your father's eyes as he tries his best to negotiate with the people before him. The desperation in his voice, the sweat running down his neck as he moves around his hand, gesturing this and that. Please, give me more time. I promise I could pay up. This is all we have left. I don't know where else to go if we lose this farmland. We've given you enough chances already, Mr. Stark. If you don't pay your debt, we'll take your land. The loud ringing of the skull bell rang across the hallway, making you jerk out of your thoughts. Students came out through their classroom doors. You feel someone shaking you awake. You sat up and meet face to face with Crowe. Well, good morning, Sleeping Beauty. You yawn. You rub your eyes as you look around. Your fellow classmates are now gone from their seats, as it is now lunchtime. What? Wait. What did I miss? Nothing important. Even if you were having, if you're having doubts, I can lend you my notes afterwards. Let's go back to sleep. Thanks, Crowe. You're a lifesaver. Anything for you, Digital Wave. You recall the little dream you had. You quickly shake it off as you let out a stretch, popping a few joints before you got up and went out the classroom with Crowe in tow. You meet up with your group of friends, seeing Daryl with Geo and Crowe waiting by the lockers, Brittany coming along behind them, and Jess. You waved at them. Good noon to y'all. Regards, Daryl. How was class? Boring and boring. So glad to be out of there. One more useless minor and I'll be out of here. Gio just shrugged, a hand on his hoodie pocket, while the other on his phone. We got to at least do something in our major today, though, which I'm glad about. More papers, but it was at least something. Enough about papers. So about the Halloween party. Any ideas for a costume yet? As they talked with each other, at the corner of your eye you noticed a familiar figure. Oh, there he is. Sorry, so I'm not doing your route this time. I'm doing full Crowe. It came out of the classroom. Another person came afterwards, behind him, seemingly bored out of his mind. Okay, stay with the group. They seem pretty busy. Putting away whatever idea you had, you return your attention back to your group of friends. So, cafeteria? Everyone cringed, not hiding their discomfort. No, not there. I would never not, Daryl. How about somewhere else? Gio's face just face palmed. Well, where do you suggest? Daryl furled his arms, you thought, for a moment, and you looked outside. Bushes with a few flowers sprouting caught your attention, and it blends well with the red and yellow of autumn. It gives you a sense of tranquility. Oh, we're gonna do it again. Garden. That's right. I may know a place. Have you guys ever been to the school gardens behind? Oh, right, the botanical garden used by the pharmacy course. That could be a good idea. There's space perfect for a little picnic today. But isn't the place locked? Jess peeked in. You smirked before pulling out a set of keys from your belt and dangling them. Yeah, no. I just happen to be a voluntary gardener. Extra credit. I didn't know you gardened it away. Everyone's gaze was on you, curiosity in their eyes. Even Jill, eyebrow raised a bit. Everyone except for Crowe. Well, wait, I didn't even do it. Well, she grew up on a farm. And now everyone's attention was on Crowe, catching him off guard by the look they were giving him. Of course you know that, lover boy. Brittany whispers under her breath as she rolls her eyes. Jess just giggled. Crowe's cheek burned red from Brittany's comment. You rubbed the back of your head. You never really got the chance to properly introduce yourself to them, huh? Yeah, I just met them yesterday, so no. Considering you just started hanging out with them a week and a half ago, technically yesterday in the game, though, I think that needs to be changed. Because technically you just met them and hung out with them the first time this time. These past months, you've only been hanging around with Crowe the most. He was your only friend. Maybe this is your time to get to know them and them with you. Brittany let out a sigh as she turned to you. She moved the picnic basket to her other arm and placed a free hand on her hip. Lead the way, Digital Wave. You nod before escorting the group along the back of the school into the gardens. He exhaled the familiar scent of fresh earth, a few leaves dancing around the air, guided by the winds of autumn, before you stand the school's own greenhouse. The greenhouse where multiple healthy greens and colorful flora grew. This place is usually occupied by biology and botany students, with occasional science teacher watching over them. You worked a lot of hard jobs for the school and to lessen your student loan expenses. Your duties range from being a janitor to a teacher's assistant, but none of your positions would last as long as you hoped for because you always found yourself somehow getting in trouble for some sort of mess you made. You felt hopeless until your advisor recommended placing you in the greenhouse. With your background and knowledge related to plants, you thought maintaining the greenhouse was a perfect fit. You've been working here ever since. Oftentimes, you think you understand the layout of the place, that you practically know the area like the back of your hand, but every day you seem to discover a new corner that you've never been to before. Sometimes you're not even sure if you're within the campus grounds anymore. It's probably because the forest that stretched beyond the area. Anyway, the large fence preventing you from crossing the border, so you never really bothered to explore further unless you want to get in trouble or accused of slacking off. For now, you want to show the group of friends the new discovery you've made while on duty last week. There is a field of large trees right around the corner. It can make for a perfect shade for our little picnic. He exclaimed, earning a look of approval from Brittany, almost as if she was oppressed. The rest of the cast fall behind you as you lead them to your destination. You hear some gasps of awe behind you. Daryl chuckles heartily in delight. Crowe hums, feeling pleasant, and you hear Brittany saying, interesting. They cry amazed at the field before them, and it fills you with pride knowing that you are able to impress them. Well, come on. The field's great, especially to lie on. Wait, I didn't. Let's see what we have here. Owie! Not yet. But Nish slapped Daryl's hand away from the basket before he could raid the whole thing, making him wince and pout. Calm your butt down. You'll have your turn. At this point, I have to charge you every time you hit me. Are you some sort of a masochist? She is like, I think I'm gonna have some fun. Daryl gave Gio a side eye. Brittany shook her head while Jess just giggled. It was a cute little get-together that Brittany planned last night. She wanted to make a few sandwiches she prepared, lots of varieties. On the blanket are a few Tupperwares with some of the sandwiches inside, while the rest were eaten. Everyone got their fair share already. By now, everyone is just minding their own business. Daryl's having the time of his life with 2 sandwiches on both of his hands. Brittany and Jess are talking. Gio is a bit further away from the group, leaning on the bark of a tree, seemingly lost in thought. And Crowe is nowhere to be seen. Okay, last time we kind of... I'm gonna save... Like, I save just in case. I want to see what happens if we do something else with Gio. Speaking of Gio, you were quite hesitant to approach Gio at first. You always saw him as someone quite intimidating. More intimidating than Brittany. I do like the CG. It's probably the way he carries himself. His towering height isn't helping either. And it seems like you've been staring at him too long. He stopped chewing his sandwich and his gaze met yours. You shiver. What do you want? Nothing. If you have nothing to say, don't bar me. He's been uninterested in talking to anyone, his sandwich half eaten before throwing it to the nearest trash bin. I think it's best not to disturb him. Okay, yeah, we at least I didn't say anything bad to him. That's a good start. Speak to Daryl. Daryl seems the least busy out of everyone. You approach him, his sitting figure, as you take a seat in front of him. One sandwich gone, from his hand as he munched on the other one on his other hand. He's just eating too. It's like, He noticed you and stopped eating, tucking away the sandwich and placing all his attention on you. There he is. I just wanted to. You got something to ask me, Digital Wave? About Geo. What's your thoughts on Geo? Daryl smiled as he leaned a bit forward. Now Geo's my favorite guy, even if he's a bit meany at times. What makes you stick to me? Isn't he mean to you, like you said? Daryl smiled, bright, as his eyes went soft. His side-eyed the male by the tree, who had his arms crossed. Geo's attention was somewhere else. People are scared of him. It's probably because of his background. What about it? The thing is, no one really knows what his family does other than the fact that they're super rich, and they're highly involved with the founder of the city. They're the mafia. People have seen him with his bodyguards, all rugged and tall and very intimidating. Heck, I even saw one with a huge katana on their backs. Okay, that's awesome. I would want to be Geo's friend with that. He shivered. I really don't want to deal with them. And what makes you not scared, Daryl? I mean, you clearly know his family and himself, what his family and himself is capable of. You see, Digital Wave, I'm not really scared of him. On the outside, he's all stubborn and cruel. But on the inside, he's a really nice guy. Think of him like, he pursed his lips, thinking a bit. He's like a stubborn cat. You glance back at Geo one more time. You're seeing the cat ears and the tail, right? Now that you think about it, that with this vision based on Daryl's declaration, Geo does not seem quite intimidating anymore. He doesn't seem intimidating at all, anyway. How cute. Then you hear a sigh from Daryl. You turn your attention to him. His elbow on his leg as he held his face in his hand. Which begs me to wonder how you end up being in the lower class with us. The lower class, how do we have things like that? Oh, you don't know about the hierarchy, Digital Wave? You shook her head, and Daryl scratched the back of his head. Oh, well, Digital Wave, most everyone knows about it. I don't blame you, since no one really likes bringing the type of stuff up. I think either Crowe or Jess would like to explain it to you. Just not Brittany. She gets riled up when it's mentioned. I was gonna say Jess is rich too, so you nod in understanding, and Daryl gave you a smile. Anyway, you got something to ask me, Digital Wave? About Daryl. I would like to know more about you, Daryl. Daryl rubbed his back of his head. Quite embarrassed you thought about him. Well, aren't you a flatterer? Him. Well, where should I start? He thought for a while, his legs crossed while you waited for him to as he pondered. Well, I am the ace of the football club. I hate my coach. They don't tell him that. He hates his coach. I love food. Lots. Lots. My favorite food would be sweets. If you ever have any on you, smuggle me some, will ya? He says with a wink and a nudge. Other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. You got something to ask me, Digital Wave? About Jess. What do you think about Jess? As a mention of Jess's name, Daryl's whole face turned red and he started sweating. What about her? I don't know. I like you to tell me. What do you think about her? Daryl's cheeks just keep getting redder and redder. For a moment, his gaze turns to where Jess and Brittany were. He sighs as he looks away. Jess is the sweetest human being I ever met. Oh? But don't tell anyone. I trust you if that is because Crowe trusts you, okay? Alright. I don't know what the big fuss what's the big fuss yet, but I promise I won't tell. You raise your hands in surrender. The taller jock deflated on his spot. His shoulders went down along with his mood. But yeah. She's sweet, she's pretty, she's cute. Why? Well, some would make fun of me. She's always there to give me a pat on the back. He groans, doubling over. His expression seems like he wants to throw up as he buries his face in his hands. But I doubt she likes me back. You tilt your head, wondering why he thinks that way. What makes you say that? The way she looks at Brittany. She has a crush on Brittany. So that doesn't change. Don't you think that's the look of someone in love? At that, your eyes widen in surprise. You could turn your head to where the two girls were. It also makes sense because of how she'll go over backwards for Brittany. The eyes behind the transparent frames looks like the fresh citrus oranges in summer. They were bright, and they were fresh for the picking for Brittany. I know because that's the same look I gave her when we first met her, and it's the same look I see on Crowe when he looks at you. He twirled a loose strand of his from his bangs. He looked away from the two girls and focused on your surprised figure. I hate it, but I love seeing the look on her face. I wish it was on me, though. I'm sorry, Daryl. He chuckled a bit. It's alright. Maybe one day I'll confess just to get off my chest. All I want is to see her happy. Even if it's not with me. Anyway, enough of the sad crap, Digital Wave. You got something to say to ask me, Digital Wave? About Brittany. Daryl gives you a proud smile. Brittany, she's the first friend back when I was new to the football team. You'd be surprised that she used to be the cheer squad despite her being quite introverted. Her introverted? No! She was. Daryl's bright smile softened, a small gloomy look on it. In it, he was trying so hard to hide it, but was failing. Yeah, she quit right after the big game at frat party 2 years ago. That party was something else, since the higher classes were also a part of it. That's probably why she quit. Something happened. The following day, she suddenly quit. I don't know why, though. Not quite worth thinking about the past anyway. Kinda wanna know what happened, though. You got something to ask me, Digital Wave? About Crowe. What do you think about Crowe? At the mention of the blue-eyed friend of his, Daryl gives you a toothy grin as he wiggles his eyebrows. You want jits on your little crushy, don't you, Digital Wave? Shut up. I just admire him, okay? I totally have a crush on him. He has a crush on me, too. Daryl laughed and stopped his teasing, saving you from further embarrassment. Crowe is quite an individual. All I know is that he's the son of a very successful businesswoman in the city. He's also rich. Though I heard he doesn't have a great relationship with his family. What makes you say that? Daryl's thought for a bit, but judging from his expression, he couldn't understand why either. I don't know either, Digital Wife. You should ask Crowe for it if you want to learn more. I see. Don't worry, Digital Wife. I'm sure he'll do anything you ask for it. He gives you a playful wink, and you roll your eyes, but gave him a smile nevertheless. Thank you for your answers. Answer my questions, Daryl. Anytime, Digitwave. You're one of us now. So open up a bit. Oh well. You got something to ask me, Digitwave? Nothing else to ask. Daryl gives you a smile before nodding. So we have Brittany and Jess. Brittany was minding her own business, suddenly tapping away on her phone. You were kind of shy to come closer to her. And we did Geo. Before you could turn and leave, however, she called out to you. She must have seen you from the corner of her eye. Oh, oi, Digitwave, come here. Don't be a stranger now. You clearly want to talk. Let me guess. Were the sandwiches great? Totally. They were wonderful, Brittany. She smiled at your response. I'm glad you liked them, Digitwave. Anyway, enough of my sandwiches. You have something to tell me? Have you seen Crowe? Crowe, I think I saw him in the deeper in the gardens. Brittany said with a raise of her brows. Let me guess. You want to finally confess your undying feelings for him? Totally. What makes you think that? Wow. I'm not sure who's denser. Him or you? Whatever. If you need him, he's probably in the greenhouse. Brittany gave you a thumbs up, mouthing a good luck. As if I'm confessing, you thought, with a pout. Brittany just gives you a teasing smirk. Totally confessing. Anyway, enough of that. Do you have anything to tell me? Thoughts on Daryl? Brittany just chuckled. You mean the meathead? He's an idiot. She says that with a smile. Then she sighs. She shakes her head at the thought of the tall rock. He's an idiot, but he's a smart idiot. I'll give him that. He's a smart idiot. That's a contradiction. He's like a bird to me. It just baffles me how he barely has any friends. How this girl fails us. She shakes her head before returning her attention back to you. You have any thoughts, things to tell me? Thoughts on Geo? Brittany raised an eyebrow. Don't tell me you got the hots for him. No. Technically, I like the design. Nothing of the sort. What makes you think that? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you do. If you never can see, his locker is often filled with multiple letters and gifts from various people that wouldn't be surprised. Is that Rapport? A loner like him, you're to be surprised. Tall, mysterious, and dangerous. Everyone just flocks to him like birds. But people are scared to even get close to him. So the next best thing they could do is send him gifts. They never succeed, though. He's somehow overwhelmed by the attention. Not really overwhelmed, more like he's uninterested. I think, was he Ace? Because that'll be awesome if we have an Ace representation with him. He either doesn't read the letters or tosses them, or he burns them. He burns them? That's so mean, and a waste of gifts, too. Brittany just laughs, her shoulders shaking. That's Geo for you. How do you know all this? Brittany giggles before giving you a wink as she pressed a manicured finger on her lips as if to hush you. I know lots of secrets. Anyway, do you have anything to tell me? Jess. Upon hearing her name, Jess' head turned to where you both were. Brittany dismissed her, telling her it's nothing, for her to worry about before turning back to you. Jess, she's my best friend. She smiled as she looked at the orange band on her wrist. My very best friend. When no one was there to help me, she was there. You'd be surprised how confident and loud she is when she's mad. Brittany chuckled a bit as if reminiscing a fond memory. I wonder how I owe it all to her for bringing me back up during those dark times. I wonder how they actually met. And did they meet at the party? The flat party? But enough of that past. You haven't even told me. No, nothing else. Brittany gave you a nod before standing up from the ground. She stretches her limbs, laying out a few satisfied pops. She placed a hand on her hip. I'll be cleaning a bit. I'll talk to you later, Tijolave. You don't want any help? No thanks. I appreciate the thought, though. A nod as she stood up as well, leaving Brittany to attend to her own devices. Speak to Jess. Jess was admiring a few orange leaves slowly falling from the trees. The slow descent of the leaf catching her attention before gracefully catching it with her delicate fingers. She noticed you approaching her. She dropped the leaf before giving you her full attention to you. Yes, Stitchwave? What seems to be the problem? Oh, there's nothing. Actually, I just wanted to talk to you and ask you a few questions. Then by all means, go ahead. I'll try my best to answer them. You have questions to ask me, Digitwave? Have you seen Crowe? Dress's eyebrows furrowed as she shakes her head. I don't know. I think I know where Crowe is. Maybe you should ask Brittany. Maybe she knows. You thank her. Do you have any questions to ask me, Digitwave? Thoughts on Geo? Jess's shoulders start shaking in mention of the tall and stoic individual. I hate to be the one of those people, but he actually scares me. Have you ever seen how capable he is with a bow and arrow? Yeah, I remember this. No, actually, is he really that good? I never know that he was part of the archery club. Oh, then you should definitely attend the sports event next year. Geo is going to compete, and the higher classes will be there to determine if students are worth bringing up. Another shiver went up her spine. She wrapped her arms around herself. A bad memory crosses her mind. But whenever that happens, Geo seems to somehow miss his target and nearly hit someone with his arrow. What the? He just doesn't want to move up. Thankfully, it's only cut the guy's hair and nothing else. He got disqualified, sadly, but that was enough for me not to mess with him. How is he not in jail? You should rack up your brain for a reason why he's in school and not behind bars. However, Jess cut you off before you could think any further. Because he's part of the mafia. Enough of that. You have any questions to ask me, Dishwave? About Daryl. At the mention of Daryl, Jess's eyes went bright. This is probably the first time you have seen her smile without shaking like a lost lamb. Daryl, he's an amazing friend. He keeps me safe. I owe it to him quite a lot. Though I do feel bad for him most of the time. Brittany and Geo tease him way too much. Jess chuckled, looking at the jock sitting under the tree before returning back to you. He's a funny guy. I remember back when I made the mistake of giving him a bowl filled with candy last Halloween. He did tell me he likes sweets. Why? What's wrong with giving him candy? Oh, sugar. Well, he gets a sugar rush. Yep, sugar rush. Pretty quickly, it gets super hyper. Brittany had to try to calm him down. Can you imagine a 6-foot-tall jockey going around like a playful puppy? I bet Bernie didn't have a good, fun time. Jess nodded with a closed smile at you. Do you have any questions to ask me, Digital Wave? Thoughts on Brittany? What do you think about Brittany? Upon mentioning the guy, the girl's name, I'm not gonna pronounce it. I do know what it is. Brittany's head turned to the both of you. She didn't say anything, but raised a brow as she tilted her head to the side. You called for me? Nothing, Britt. Jess quickly shooed her best friend away. Brittany shrugged before continuing on with her own business. Jess lets out a sigh of relief as a small tint of red raises from her cheeks. Jess looked down on her skirt, fiddling with the pink waistband as her heartbeat quickened. Britt, she's my best friend, my very best friend, and I would do anything to see her happy again. She pushed back her glasses and looked at you. And there you saw the sparkles. Her smile was soft, and you could tell. Jess, do you like Brittany? She was hesitant before looking down, nodding as she did so, still fiddling with her pink wristband. Promise not to tell. I promise. Thank you, Dishwave. This is just between you, between the two of us. And Daryl, because Daryl already knows. Besides, she gave you a big smile. I'll keep your oh-so-secret crush towards Crowe a secret too. She giggled at your surprised look at the mention of Crowe. You rubbed the back of your head as she pouted. You have questions to ask me, Didgewave? Nothing. No more questions. Jess nodded as she clapped her hands. It was wonderful talking to you, Didgewave. You should hang out with us more. And with that, she gave you a wave goodbye. Look for Crowe. You pretty much talked to everyone here, and they all seem to be busying themselves. You look around the gardens before moving in deeper into the red autumn wonderland. As you kept moving forward, you were greeted by the greenhouse. Though the transparent glass, you spot a familiar head of brown. You went inside the greenhouse and saw Crowe go through each plant, flower, analyzing each delicate leaf and petal. Water. Noticing he was not alone, he turned to where you were and smiled. Oh, there you are, Didgewave. What brings you here? I would say the same thing to you. Well, I haven't really explored the place properly before, so why not take the chance? You've never been here? Crowe shakes his head. Never had the time to visit. Crowe chuckles. You meet his gaze, and he gives you a soft smile, his gaze lingering a bit before going around. He then found something that caught his attention. Now that's a pretty looking flora. What do you think it is? You look at the brush of flowers filled with purple flowers, their petals thin, and it showcase its full bloom. That's a passion flower. Fascinating. Tell me more about it. Well, it's climbing a vine plant. Usually its colors are purple or white. Once flowers bloom, passion fruits will bear itself. Usually a volunteer would come and harvest the fruits. That sounds interesting, Digitwave. But that's a scientific way to describe the flower. How about its meaning? You tilt your head to the side. What do you mean? How do I say this? He places a hand under his chin. In astrology, Each star has a meaning behind it. Same goes with the gemstones, with your birthstone. Flowers have those as well, correct? Never really thought about it. Yeah, I don't really think about it either. It's just flowers. Crowe gives you a cheeky smile. It's interesting. Passion for flowers symbolize hope and growth. I love seeing the hopeful looks on people. He says as he looks at the flowers before you, hope, something something this city needs. Are you going to become Batman, Crowe? I want to get rid of the heart sheet. You're definitely going to be Batman. Be Batman. Crowe, be Batman. Daryl mentioned something about that. Actually, everyone did. But how come I never heard of it? What's about? I never got to explain it to you. I guess it's the perfect timing since they're quite active in interacting with us in the lower class again. He looks out. Our school, Olympias University, has 2 buildings, 2 different classes. One is where we are at the moment, the lower class. Well, around the northern part of the city, is where the higher class are. Their education is 10 times better, their facilities are better, and the students are way out of our league. He hesitates a bit in voicing his thoughts of the students in the higher class. Though I highly doubt that, he added with his eyes narrowed. The lower class? Calling it lower class is kind of low in my opinion. I call them villagers, humble people. They're either really kind or either too busy to bother. There was a hint of hesitation in his voice. Well, not all. Fellow students in the higher class often end up here with us. And well, they don't really take it well, which explains the bullying situation. Crowe's brows slanted downward, disgusted by the idea. The fact that he can't do anything to it is irritating him. How come no one tried to file a report or anything? People tried. I tried. We tried. But unless you either have money or higher reputation, heck, even both, they won't bother to listen. Crowe sighs, which is why some students try their hardest to get up the ranks to be part of the higher class. All that just to be respected. Crowe didn't say anything to you but a nod. I'm sorry. The hierarchy. Crowe looks at you with a sad laugh. The system is kind of, if you feel it, you feel it thing. You don't really feel it, much less see it unless you've been at its mercy. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, Digitwave. Yeah, you never know who is the next victim. A soft, sad smile makes its way to his face, which is why I strive to protect you. Both of those sound so... You're left to your thoughts process to what Crowe told you about the newfound information. This probably explains the bullying and how the school is handled. Your position in the city is just a second priority. Heck, maybe not even a priority at all. That means if I ever want to keep my family's farm up, I'll have to make it up there. Crowe nodded before continuing. Once you're up there, you have a better life. You'll be respected. You'll be rich. People will do as you tell them. But I still have to go to school and pay debt, so that doesn't mean anything. That's messed up. Did people ever protest? Crowe, however, did not answer, as it scared the person, scared that someone would hear him. He remained quiet, only giving you a look that probably says that things did not go well. He refused to ask for more elaboration. That reminds me of Digitwave. His Crowe starts. You never told me as to how or why you chose the university your family owns a farm, correct? You bit your lip as you thought of home. We do. But I wouldn't say we're doing well. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay. It's okay, really. It's my burden to carry, not yours. I'm going to work hard for it. Anything. I'll do anything. Your eyes widen at the words that a well-dressed man said. No, I refuse. Digitwave, I told you. I told you to stay inside. You're not taking the farm, my home. You cut off your father's words and marched towards the tall man with loud and heavy footsteps. The tall man, however, raised a brow at you, raising his hand to halt his men. His deep magenta eyes then turned to look straight into your eyes. It was a chill down your spine. Well, a bit feisty seeing that this is our first meeting. Time meeting is out first. It should be R. So instead of a T, it should be R. Let me introduce myself first. My name is. I can't catch that, sir. But you can call me Mr. Z. As for your little agenda, how about this, little lamb? If you manage to pay off your debt in the next 5 years, I'll let you off the hook and let you keep your land. 5 years, you can handle that. Maybe working 3 jobs would do it for you. Yeah. He talks, waving a finger in front of your face. He looks down at you, reminding you of your place, a mischievous smile appearing on his handsome features. But I have some conditions you need to meet. You were silent. Your heart started pounding in your chest as you kept eye contact with his sharp magenta ones. I want you to stay in the city. The city? But we can't even afford to take her to college. What more? Move in the city? Your father interrupts the man in mid-sentence. The man merely gives you a side glance, making the old man and freeze on his feet before returning his gaze back to you. No need to worry. She'll be under my jurisdiction, of course. I'll provide for her education and accommodation. This would be funny if this guy is actually Gio's family. Suddenly, he bursts out laughter, turning his attention back a bit as he just heard a very funny joke. See? I'm not that cruel, wouldn't you agree, Digitwave? But just like I said before, I want you to pay off your debt. Land doesn't come in cheap, darling. I've been very patient with how long this land payment has been postponed. A sun jerk on your collar makes your heart jump. His face now mere inches away from yours. His brows frowned in anger and filled with spite. Digitwave, not one more step, old man. He screamed at your father, not sparing him a glance as he kept his hold on your collar. He tried to claw his hand away from it, but to no avail, seeing that you are losing more air. The more you struggle. Listen here, punk. I don't care what kind of method you're going to do in order to make money. A dark smile appeared on his face. It sent a shiver down your spine. Being a good citizen, or get a part-time job like the rest, or whatever. Legal or illegal. I don't care. As long as you reach the amount. If not, well, You could say goodbye to your little farmland. He says that, but there was a gleam in his eye that is telling you that's not all. Letting go of your collar, he steps back at you greedily, taking in the air that you lost, tears making its way towards your eyes, fretting to drop. So, little fawn, what's it gonna be? You bit your bottom of your lip. You turned to look at your father. His eyes were clearly telling you to climb. You didn't want to comply to this man's words, much less take his offer. You think he might throw you under. You think he might throw you in another form of debt for letting him fund you to go to the city. There was something about this man that screams dangerous. But you were too desperate to not lose your home. Your only home. Tick-tock, sweetie. I don't got it all day. The tall man's gaze still fixed on you, waiting for your answer. Do you accept? But you nearly at the end of the school year, and you cannot afford to go back again. Not with this debt. Credits alone isn't enough to cut it. Whenever you think about it, you keep seeing the tall man's ever-sharp magenta eyes burying into yours. Into you. It leaves you a bad taste in your mouth and a stinging feeling in your chest. Your heart ached as you stare back at Crowe's own blue eyes. Are you alright, Digitwave? You zoned out a bit. If I get to be a part of the higher class, then I would have a better chance in life, right? Crowe was surprised at your sudden enthusiasm, but nods regardless. That's right. And you give Crowe a reassuring smile, and you clench your fist. Then I'll work hard to show those higher-ups that I'm worth their time. Crowe chuckled and nodded. You know he's got your back. Then Crowe raises his hand and tucks a loose strand behind your ear. You sense him placing something soft, and you reach out to touch what felt like petals. Aw, there, that looks good on you. What is it? Crowe then leads you to a nearby pond. You look and saw your reflection. On your hair is a red carnation. Oh, I didn't know no carnations grew here. Crowe only chuckled, fixing the flower on your hair. Crowe looks around for a while, basking in the various beauties of the flora. What do you think carnation means? You took your head and make sure the said flower doesn't fall from your head as Crowe continued on with his talk. Passion flowers mean hope, while carnations mean... I couldn't seem to remember. What do you think it means, Digitwave? You thought for a while, knowing some carnations can be found in bouquets. Well, if it has to be something romantic, though, often a perfect gift for family and loved ones. And so, I might have to look up what it means then. Eyes met him, and for a moment his gaze lingered. Were his eyes always so blue you never noticed before? The way he lashes flutter and touch his cheeks when he blinks, the plump lips are always glistening whenever sunlight hits him. His eyes went half-witted. He leans closer and closer, as if in a trance. His eyes slowly start to close. Lean in. As if you lost control of your body. It started moving on its own, and he leaned closer as well. The eyes were closed, feeling his breath near your own lips. He draws closer and closer. Crowe, we better get going before... Of course, Brittany. Brittany just ruined the moment. Though, let's be fair, someone's gonna go stabby again. If we get kissed. Your eyes popped open, and you quickly back away. Crowe leaned back again, back away, as well as he waved to Brittany. Brittany just raised a brow at the both of you before shrugging off, and leaving the greenhouse. Crowe sighed, seemingly disappointed before giving you his hand for you to take. We should get going. He pouted at the moment before accepting his extended hand and left the greenhouse with Crowe. You and the rest of the group got back inside the campus. Everyone already went to their respective classes. I'm going to head back first. I'll see you in class, right? Across Digitally? Of course. Crowe didn't walk away just yet. He stood there for a while, accompanying something before shaking his head and walking away, a tint of red touching the tips of his ears as he walked. We have 5. As he walked, he spotted a familiar head of waving green hair, and right beside him a shorter individual. Sol noticed you first and went to you, a noticeable skip in his steps. Did you wave? Hey, Sol, and who might this be beside you? Hi there, you're friends with Sunny? 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 Sol, he pats Sol on the back, causing the taller male to jerk slightly forward. Sol gives him an irritated look, observing the way his face is slowly turning red. You know, because he's always sunshine, he's Sunny. You have a small giggle, shifting your eyes towards Sol as he catches your gaze on his. Upon landing eye contact, Sol quickly averts his gaze away from yours, holding his hand as he tries hardest to hide his face away. Like a nickname? Yes, Sunny loves the nickname I gave him, right, Sunny? Sol remained silent, still refusing to meet your gaze. That's adorable. For a moment, the 3 of you were silent before the shore male speaks up one more time. You sure have a taste, Sunny. She's really pretty, just like you said. A brush makes its way to your face, scratching the back of your head. You bit the bottom of your lip and let out a small thank you. Anyway, nice to meet you. My name's Hugo. I'm this big old grumpy best friend. Digital Wave is a pleasure to meet you, too. He extends his hand for you to take, and well, you're immediately accepted, shaking it and putting its back on his side, a smile on his face as he did so. Are you both heading to your next class? Hugo laughed, a hand on his chest, as if you told him a very funny joke. I actually have a better idea. Let's skip class. Skip class? Yeah, it'll be fun. Sol here has been meaning to ask you out. Sol gave Hugo a punch in his rib, making the short male choke out the words he was supposed to say as he doubled over and clutched his stomach. Let's ditch. Hugo's eyes gave him a glance. Sol ignored him as he anticipated your answer. Hanging out with these two sounds fun, but you remember your next class with Crowe. Maybe you can. Don't skip class. I can't skip class. Sorry, I can't bear to skip skip on the second day. Sol didn't say anything as his shoulders slumped, indicating his obvious disappointment. But there's something else that in the dullness of his eyes. You were interrupted by Hugo. That's right, alright, Digitwave, but promise you'll hang out eventually. On a weekend, then I'm sure. Wait, Soul spoke, making you and Ego look at him. Can I at least take you to your next class? He asked you. There's a hint of desperation within his reddish orange eyes. You don't see what's the problem with it, so you agree. I'll see you in your usual at the usual, Soul. Ego waved to the both of you before walking off. Let's go, shall we? Soul nods as you walk along, Soul following beside you. You and Soul walk through the hallway towards your next class's classroom. You couldn't help but check on Soul. He seems nervous. You look down and see that his hand is shaking. I keep walking. You didn't bother with him anymore as you kept walking. His shaking hand eventually just shoved in his pockets as you both assumed your walk. You finally reached the front of your classroom door, peeking inside through the door's window and saw Crowe in his usual seat already. You turned your attention back to Soul. Thank you for escorting me to my class, Soul. Oh, it's no problem. His tiny smile didn't last long as his face, however, his shoulders slumped down. Though, I could have wished you could have come with me. Maybe next time, Soul. Maybe we can hang out on a weekend or on a free schedule. Sure. His eyes contradicted his expression as he relaxed and faces them. I'm sorry, Soul. I did last time. Just then, the door to the classroom opened, and there you meet eyes with Crowe. Crowe's eyes lit up once he saw you. There you are, Wave. Just in time for the next class. Oh, he was about to greet you, but felt Soul's presence beside him. And who might this fellow be? A classmate of yours? You can say that. Crowe, this is Soul. He's from my art class, Soul. This is Crowe. A pleasure to meet you, Soul. Crowe extended his hand for Soul to shake. Soul just stared at it. It's like, I give you one route. A few awkward seconds passed before he eventually took Crowe's hand. Soul, however, wasn't regained in strength as he gripped Crowe's hand with much force. Crowe rinsed from the pressure, but didn't say anything before Soul eventually let go of his hand. Soul then turned to you. I should be going now, Digitwave. I'll see you soon. Kind of wished you could come with me. He sighed, reaching out a tuck of loose strand of hair from your face, earning him a small blush from you. Soul turned on his heel and walked off. You looked at his chain figure before Crowe eventually tapped your shoulder. We should get going. With one last glance at Soul's chain figure, you turned around and got inside your classroom. You got to your usual seat, Crowe taking his usual seat by the window in front of your own seat, waiting for your classroom to settle down as your professor comes in. Alright, class, settle down. You all better turn in this upcoming paper if you don't want to end up having no grades in your card. That means your professor slams down his thin notebook, a loud slap echoing through the room. You won't be able to graduate. And don't even think about making it up to the higher class with a weak mindset. So we're just finally to be told about it, and now he's like, it's not even a secret anymore. Now for today's task, I'll like you all to Think of a short story based on any type of literature. Bonus points if you could source out where you got your inspiration along with the references. I'll be checking those the most. You hear a few whispers from the few of your classmates as they talk with each other. Unfortunately for them, your professor knows them as he slams his thin notebook again on his desk, making some of you jolt from your seats. Now, I can allow you all to head to the library to do your research or stay here and brainstorm. You may begin. Crowe stands up from his seat, gathering his things, then turns to you. I'm going to the library. Would you like to join me? You nod. I gave him a nod, earning a smile from him as he makes his way towards the exit. Crowe waits for you as you gather your things before leaving the classroom and to the library. Unlike lunch time, where everyone is free, the library contains only a few students. Some are doing their student studies, while some doing their own research. Same spot then? You read my mind. Of course, it's one of our favorite spots. You smile at his face, me make his way towards your favorite table near the window and settles down. Meanwhile, you make your way towards the bookshelf, scanning each spine of each book. You try to look for something that might catch your attention, your interest. You just find your new West. Minutes pass before seem to find your fancy sigh upon realizing this predicament. Nothing. Giving up, you decide to just pick up the closest book and hope for the best, that it's decent enough for your paper. Filling a thick book, you pulled out and nearly dropped it. It's heavy? It's thick, so yeah, probably. Regarding your bounce, you held onto the thick book properly and finally checked the title of the massive tome. The biography of Marie Antoinette. Little meat cake! Your eyebrows raise in mid-curiosity. This might be actually work. He flipped it over, and he saw you were met with a very well-drawn portrait of a very prestigious-looking woman. Flipping through more pages, your eyes land on the drawing figure of the same woman, but her need before a guillotine. Oh, the execution. Quite a spoiler! But you read through the text below the illustration. Not spoiler to me. I know it. The execution. Such a gruesome end, you thought. Definitely. Deciding with this book, you tuck it under your arm for safekeeping. You take a look one last time around the bookshelf, maybe finding something of the same genre. Notice a particular book sticking out at the very edge of the bookshelf. It was very worn out and dirty. You kind of wondered how it ended up there. You inched a bit closer. The spine didn't have anything on it besides a few worn edges, bent and littered with dust. You got on your tiptoes as you reached out to grab the book. After the moment you grab it and pull it, the bookshelf started wobbling and you immediately stopped. Keep prying out. With determination, you've held on the shelf, making sure not to make it wobble any further. You take a firm grip on the worn book. Come here, you. Got it. Whoa! The bookshelf wobbled from the force as you pulled out the lone book, fraying to push you down, making your heartbeat quicken from the sheer thought of getting crushed under the tall shelves. You quickly held your arms wide as you tried to rebound the shelf, hoping it was enough to stop it from shaking. A few books fell from then and there, making you wince. But you successfully stabilized the shelf. You let out a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Hope no one heard that. Anyway, that is... what is this that is so stuck to to the thing. You flip the cover only to see blank page. No offer whatsoever, save for the page, the edges of the yellow from age. The dust didn't help either. You went for a few more pages. There you finally get to see some printed words on it. The various torture devices and executions of medieval times. How did this end up in the school's library? Well, it fits with reading out to it, that's for sure. Then again, I might be able to get some material out of this. You shrug, closing the book. You tuck it under your arm with the large biography book and left the area, returning to where Crowe is settled. Welcome back, Digitwave. Have you found anything useful for your paper? Took a while. Nothing caught my eye from the books, but this one. You raised the large book and shoved it to Crowe. The queen herself. That's pretty interesting. What kind of paper are you going to make out of it? What kind of paper? What kind of class is this? Is it literature? Is it literature? Because I could totally make a thing about revolt, or if it's a history paper, right, how bad of the queen she was. I was thinking about how a tyrant ruler turned good was punished regardless of her actions. I'll just go tortured because they were not. Well, there was a disconnect. How does that sound? Crowe was silent for a few seconds, making you tilt your head. Maybe he didn't hear you correctly. You okay there, Crowe? Is it not a good idea? It actually sounds nice, Digitwave. Can I ask you for the respiration? Oh, well, I didn't stop thinking about how our conversation back in the greenhouse, so maybe I could base it off some things here. Is that so? That's very smart of you, Digitwave. Why, thank you. You did a little bow, tipping your imaginary hat as you did. Crowe chuckled at your silly gesture before you two settled down on your seats. You skimmed through the book, taking a few notes here and there for important bits you could use. Feeling your wrists itching a bit, you stopped scribbling and stretching out your arms, a few squeaks of satisfaction escaping your lips as you can feel the effects of your stretch. Oh, there he is. At the corner of your eye, you notice how Crowe's eyebrows tend to furrow as he goes through his books. You can feel his leg shaking from beneath the table. The occasional tapping of his pen fills the quiet library. You took a peek on his disposable report paper, expecting some few words written on his paper. Instead, you were met with a blank sheet, a void of words, or even a drop of ink. You're staring to worry. He seems restless about something. Crowe? Upon hearing your voice, Crowe's legs stop shaking as he turns to you. You could see the way his expression waxed but the lingering feeling of uneasiness never fading, a drop of sweat rolling down from his temple. He's trying so hard to keep a calm face. Yes, Digitwave, is something the matter? Are you right? You barely wrote anything, and you seem nervous. Is something bothering you? Forcing a smile, he tilts his head to the side, as he didn't understand what you're concerned about. A soft smile forming on his lips, giving you a false sense of security. Yes, I'm fine. Then he went silent. His eyes returned to staring down at the blank sheet of paper. The silence is quite suffocating. The air is now a bit awkward. You willed to write, dissipating, and was replaced by your concern over the male beside you. Say, I got a bit of a scenario for you to play along with Digital Wave. Huh? Crowe's previous gloomy attitude was placed with a playful one, facing his body towards you with a pen set down, discarding his thoughts from the paper. His sudden change in demeanor caught you by surprise, but he did not spare you a moment to question him as he raised a finger. Imagine yourself being in the same time as the Queen, and that you were given the chance to actually befriend her even though you came from nothing. He often questioned how you managed to befriend the Queen herself. She's been nothing but kind to you. You often inviting you to her parties and giving you the fanciest gifts, ranging from dresses to jewelry. Now, here comes my first question. What do you think of the Queen? She's highly suspicious. I think nothing of her. I see her as a friend. Well, I also see her as a friend. She clearly sees me as one. Sure, I'll be a bit embarrassed from the amount of gifts she's been giving me. If I was in the situation, I'd be thankful. They'd probably say that her friendship is enough for, and no amount of physical goods can measure the gratitude I'm feeling towards her. Crowe was silent, a bit awed by your answer. Then a smile broke free of his face, scratching his cheek. His smile grew wider towards you. Such a noble response, expected from you, Digitawave. Now, what does that supposed to mean? About crossing your arms in the process. You pout, crossing your arms in the process. Crowe merely chuckles. Then you feel his hand brush against yours, squeezing your hand in the process. You swear you could feel the heat heating up. But this scenario isn't over yet. It's not? Nope. Here's the following scenario. He says properly, removing his hand on yours as you anticipate his next words. Crowe takes a breath, feeling accompanied on his next words before speaking. What if one day you decide to go to her palace wanting to either do groceries or visit your family? And then there is where you see a group of people. They're all mad, each throwing one profoundly to another. Upon coming closer, it's about the Queen. You decide to come closer. There's a heated debate, but the loudest one, a farmer, loudly proclaims how the Queen betrayed them. How the Queen is nothing but a greedy higher-up, using the farmer's hard working labor for her to throw parties, leaving them starving. Which, yeah, I kind of agree, because there was a disconnect. Then the other side speaks up, a woman, saying that the farmer is wrong, and that the Queen is nothing but good to them, providing enough gold and food to keep them afloat. A child came and held onto the woman's leg, confirming her words. If it weren't for the Queen, the child wouldn't have a homes. There you soon realize that there are a group of nuns. Behind them is an orphanage, a few children peeking through the windows as they try to comprehend what's going on and why they're screaming. Then again, the farmer should, is working for the money. The orphanages, they can't. Although, then again, at this time, kids were allowed to work, so I don't know. Having had enough of the fight, you return to the Queen's castle, but just when you thought you escaped the circus staying armament about the Queen, you hear a few whispers from the nobles along the hallway. The Queen is nothing but a fraud. She's nothing but a selfish person. She's doing nothing but bringing misery to the people around her. She doesn't fit in to be a noble. But that's pretty odd, isn't it? They're the same group of nobles who the queen helped and tried to stop war from raging. Why are they talking about her? To basically get rid of the royal family and take over. There's nothing. Is there something you aren't aware of about the queen, or are they doing it out of pure hatred? He opens his eyes, the light still absent from his blue orbs, as he focuses his gaze on your own. He leaned a bit back, from his form straight and firm. Now, here's where you come in, Digitwave. Which side do you believe in? The queen, who's been nothing but kind to you? Or the rumors circling about her being a grateful, noble, a selfish woman? A tyrant. He says the word tyrant with so much venom he spits it out like poison in his teeth. He thought long and hard, as will Sonora. Multiple thoughts swirling in your head. This all seems complicated. Take your time. It's fine if you do not respond, just tell me. I would love to hear your answer, Digitwave. I still believe in the queen. I'll believe in the queen. You do? I do. Even if the rumors said she was a bad person, even if she's the cause of so many people suffering under her reign. I did. That's the loophole. It's just baseless rumors. If I want the truth, isn't it better to ask straight from the queen? If she's aware of that she's causing people so much suffering, then I'd rather take it knowing that she was aware and proceeds to be honest with me rather than lie to me. And plus, what's to say, history's written by the victors. For a moment, Crowe was silent, his eyes nestled on its lap. You couldn't see them, but you took notice of the way his shoulders trembled, his eyes gleaming. Is he about to cry? Oh God, I didn't mean to. Crowe, I'm so sorry. You're too trusting, you know that, Digitwave? Yeah, that's probably why I have a yandere. This time he has only like one. That could attract potential danger. Our other love interest. Trust me. What? I just did what you told me to do, and that's answer your scenario. His playful demeanor comes back quick, as if he did not just make the most gut-wrenching scenario known to man. What do you want to see? He laughs, holding his chest as he whips a stray tear away from the corner of his eye. What was the science in our question for anyway? I just thought it would be a good idea for my paper. Am I right? Okay, you have to admit, it was a pretty good idea, and can probably entertain your teacher for quite a bit. I can't believe you let me go through that brain exercise just for a silly paper of ours. Well, better get to writing, Digitwave. We're almost running out of time. What? How about you? Your paper's still blank. If I could make up a silly scenario, then I can absolutely make up another one in a whim. Plus, your response is enough to fill my little writer's block, so I like to thank you for helping me. You're so good when it comes to writing stories, Crowe. You should be a writer. I think about your suggestion. Stretching out your arms, laying out a sigh of relief, looking at your paper they made as you skimmed through it one last time. You were about to you were too caught up in the conversation with Crowe, you nearly forgot about the worn book you brought along. You pick it up and start flipping through the first pages. Torture devices, execution devices. Well, why are you reading this again? You turned to another page, and on it is a sketch of a tall and bulky man, half his face covered with a hood and a large axe settling behind him. Oh, this is a what do you call him? His arms filled with scars. Well, around his neck is a chain collar. He looks like one of those killers you often see in slasher films. Just ghost face stabby. Underneath the illustration is it reads executioner. Some executioners were feared by the public, while the rest respected them. But mostly people shunned them for their field of work. The old times were brutal. He muttered under your breath. Closing the book, he slacked it on top of the other books with you and Crowe borrowed. Handing out your paper to Crowe, he gladly accepted it and slacked it on top of with his own paper. Shall we head back? He nodded along after you finished slacking the books you borrowed for the library. A librarian or assistant to get. I can't wait for the day to end. Same here. Crowe chuckled as you two left the library. The day eventually came to an end. Few rays of sunlight shine through the halls as you and Crowe walk through the hallway. Do you have anything else to do today, Digitwave? Well, I have to do some quick grocery shopping before I go home. Well, in that case, would you mind me accompanying you? Really? It's fine if you have other things to do. Looks like look for Brittany and the others? Not really. Besides, Daryl has after-school practice, same with Geo. As for Brittany and Jess, they're catching up with their business proposal. But don't you also need to catch up? I could do them tomorrow. I'd like to spend the rest of the day with you, Digitwave. Your voice got caught up in your throat. You could feel your face heating up. Stupid Crowe, stupid feelings. Alright then. Crowe lets out a small cheer. A small, kind of like a mini jump from this game with an Italian plumber. Mario Kart, right? Super Mario? It made you giggle a bit. K10. Without wasting much time, you and Crowe head out to the school's campus. The sun slowly setting in the horizon after you and Crowe finished up buying some groceries. Crowe offered to carry your bags and walk you home all the way back to your apartment, just like the day before. We should do this every day. But don't you live on the other side of the city? Nothing wrong with that. Plus, my place isn't that far from the school anyway, so walking you to the apartment and back is nothing to me. Don't tell me you're the kind of person who would travel from one state to another while saying it's walkable. Crowe laughs, shrugging his shoulders as if to say maybe. This locks the Tar City. I love walking, especially during the night, And most especially when the stars are out. I kind of agree with that. You stare at him up and down, your eyes often lingering on his hand. The temptation of holding it was galling at you, making you fidgety. This doesn't come unnoticed by Crowe as he gradually slowed down until he came to a stop, settling down the groceries. You stop as well, raising a brow in concern as he looked at you with keen eyes. Do you feel cold, Digitwave? No, what makes you think that? Without much of a warning, he takes both of your cold hands, cupping them in between his large ones, and begin to blow on them. Crowe, no. You might get me sick if you blow my hands. You might get me sick. His warm breath easing your cold fingertips. I just rub my hands together, Crowe. Your hands are now warm, but they couldn't compare to the heat of your face reaching the tips of your ears. You keep shivering, so I thought I could warm you up a bit. Crowe, I'm sorry, I didn't have a jacket, and I doubt my vest could do much help. It's alright, Crowe. You don't need to. Your face is red. Are you cold? Do you want to hold my hand during our walk? Let him hold your hand. He already put his breath on my hand. You hung your head down, too flustered to utter a word. Your request got caught in your throat as your shyness overwhelmed you. Rare, you stared at Crowe's large hands wrapped around yours, not pulling away, nor protesting against it. Crowe noticed your averted gaze, your shy demeanor, causing his lips to clerk up in a gentle smile. He's almost chuckled when he realized how your eyes fixed on your joined hands. Feeling his right hand, Crowe picks up the groceries back up. His left hand closed around yours, holding it firmly but gently. It's like, okay, Crowe. Okay, I think he's gonna actually come in the apartment this time. You swear he gave you a little squeeze and he tucks you along, continuing on with your walk. Derp. Drop. Oh, that's odd. No, it's raining. Something the matter? I kind of feel like something dripping on me. Oh. Yep. We seem to be a soft drizzle suddenly started into a wild downpour. Is this Arizona? You and Crowe made a run for it, trying your best to keep yourself dry as Crowe shielded your groceries from getting wet. Thankfully, the sight of your apartment complex came into view a few feet away. A weave sigh escaped your lips. You and Crowe, who were doing everything that he could to keep your bags dry, not even caring about the drops of rain running down his cheeks and his damp hair that clung to his face. Just a few more steps, Crowe. We're almost there. You ran up the road, hearing Crowe's heavy footsteps following behind you. All of a sudden, Crowe stops. Wait. Oh, his went down because his head turned to the bushes, his eyes growing wide, and he opened his mouth into the near grasp. Crowe, what's wrong? Oh, 1 sec. Let's get these groceries and you to cover. Huh? Crowe hesitantly shoves your semi-damp plastic bags onto you, your arm suddenly carrying the weight of your groceries. You blink a few times in confusion. Oh, he sees something. Whoa! Without much warning, Crowe whisked you up off the ground. Yeah, he definitely says something. It's so doing something. It's slowly the present back there. With one of his arms wrapped around your shoulders and the other under your knees, he lifted you up. The shock from your feet leaving the pavement with pavement floor caused you to shriek as you clung around Crowe's neck, feeling his damp body pressed against yours. Crowe, what on earth? I have to say it's easier to pronounce. Crowe runs off to your apartment, carrying you like you wait and met nothing in his arms. He seemed distracted. You protest, going unheard. Is he gonna stay tonight? Oh, this will be bad. Yandere comes in there. It's like, well, that's not the only bad end. Once he makes it to your doorstep, he sets you down before turning around and running back to the way he came. Get inside the apartment. I'll be right back. You drop your grocery bag tight as you stand and stare at his figure. Your heart drumming quite loudy within your chest. Did he just pick me up and carry me all the way to my apartment that easily? He barely even grunted. I mean, for me, I'm only 98 pounds. I think, pretty sure you could breast prince me. For someone so lean, you never expected to actually lift you like a sack of potatoes, feathers. You started wondering if he works out. Probably. You were dazed, head afloat from what just occurred, to realize that the Crowe falling came back. You gasp as you took in his entire body, now awfully drenched from head to toe, his hair dripping with water. His shoes sloshed as he walked, and his wet clothes clung to his skin. Wait, what does he have? You notice his vest missing. Then you spy an arms wrapped around something. Can I have the cat? A sound came from the bundle, and he carried in his arms, causing you to get a snap out of your thoughts. Can I have it? Did I just hear his vest meow? Let's get inside before we get any colder. Okay, Crowe, I love you're my favorite. You just saved a cat. It's like, sire soul, you're a yandere, and you do kill people. Once you and Crowe made it inside your apartment, the second thing you did was to grab 3 different towels. One for you, one for Crowe, and one for your new little friend. My new adopted friend. Crowe, you're coming to live in here with me. I couldn't bear to leave him in the cold rain. Poor little guy must have gone abandoned by its mother. It's a black cat, too. I'm naming you Morgana, wrapped in a small towel in a tiny black kitten. I mean, I have my own black cat, but you know, we should be thankful that my landlord isn't in his usual desk, right? Oh, I'm definitely adopting. I'll give the middle finger to the landlord. Pets aren't allowed here. Other than that, Crowe paused a bit, understanding where you're coming from. Oh, I would definitely take the cat. A little chuckle left his eyes, scratching his wet cheek. He would probably won't appreciate the puddle we made in his doorstep. Precisely. You both let out a small awkward laugh, hoping that you wouldn't get caught the following day by the cameras around. Shoveling the dot aside, you and Crowe stare at the kitten now, wrapped with the butt towel, its beady eyes seemingly staring at both of you before breaking into meows and meows. Your name's gonna be Morgana, and I'm adopting you. I don't care. No, don't care about the landlord. You feel your heart melt, and so did Crowe's. Can I nickname it? I'll take care of the little guy for now. You should probably dry up, Crowe. Is that okay? I didn't expect to actually end up staying in your place. I won't be long. I won't be long though. I'll get out of your hair as soon as I dry up. I honestly don't mind if you stay a bit longer. It's not a problem. I just don't want you to catch a cold because of me. Well, we'll take turns then. After I dry up, I'll take care of the kid next. Wait, is that... No? Where's that cat? Like, you would think that would be with him. Let me get changed to something. Get you something to change. There is really no need for. I don't have to get close to his size, probably. For giving him a chance to protest, you quickly head out of your bedroom. Rummaging through your drawers and cabinets, you try to find something that could fit Crowe. You remember the oversized shirt you received during last sports day. You never understood as to why everyone needed to buy that shirt, but when you got yours, they ran out of your own size, and you had no choice but to accept the shirt that was one size bigger than yours. One size? I probably have one that was like extra large on my... supposed to be like extra small size. Taking it out of the drawer, you make your way back. You head back to the living room, seeing Crowe, who remains still on his spot. His shirt was practically partially dry, and he had taken the kitten into his arms. The little creature was snugly wrapped in the warm blanket, reminding you of a burrito. Kitty burrito. The sight of Crowe gently holding the kitten pierced a soft spot in your heart. The view was to die for, and you couldn't have spent a few more seconds admiring it had you not noticed Crowe's shoulders shaking from the cold. You're shivering. It's nothing I can't handle. Why, the cat's doing a better job at getting warmer than you. You teasingly roll your eyes, Crowe, as you shove the shirt and another fresh towel in his direction. He chuckles, forced to give up the kitten to you as he accepts the change of clothes. Carrying the kitten in your arms, you lead Crowe to your bathroom, and he thanks you before stepping in and closing the door behind him. Hearing the twink of the valve and the familiar sound of a shower running, you remember how Crowe shivered all the way to the bathroom. You turn your heater up a bit before settling back down on the couch. You turn your attention to the kitten. Its fur now dry thanks to you and Crowe. The small feline looks up at you and meows, its little beady eyes staring at you up at yours. You put a finger on on its head, petting it gently. Meow. You must be hungry, little guy. You're lucky I went out grocery shopping. Then we get tuna. Scooping up the little kitten in your arms, you make your way towards the kitchen. Setting the kitten down on the counter, you rummage around your fridge and cupboards for a clean bowl. Picking up the grocery bag from the floor and placing it on the kitchen table. As you look for the almond milk you remember getting. You don't need to get the cat almond milk. Maybe some tuna. Heating the milk up just warm enough, you observe the kitten as it breaks free from its warm confinement and looks around. The kitten shivers in fear. In kitchen of unknown territory, yet remains curious enough to look around. Setting the warm-up bowl of milk in front of the cat, grab a chair, patiently waiting as it creeps closer to the bowl. It takes one lap of milk, then another, then one more before happily drinking up. A warm smile makes its way to your face. Seems you got yourself all settled in. You hear Crowe's slightly amused voice, and you turn around and face him. The moment you momentarily stop at the sight of his standing there, wearing the fresh shirt you handed him, and with a towel around his neck. Now out of the usual braids, his hair was let loose, a few droplets dropping from the semi-dry strands. Thanks for you letting me use your bathroom, Digitwave. You don't mind me hanging my vest, right? Don't mind. In fact, I'll just hand you stuff to you tomorrow if you like. Crowe didn't answer as he pointed his gaze downwards, dripping his head in an attempt to conceal the slight tilt of pink brushing along his cheeks. He rubbed his arm, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. Sorry, I didn't think I would end up staying here a bit. But I'm thankful either way. Also, isn't it the first time I've seen your apartment? You got a nice place. Oh crap, he's actually right. You never really got any visitors, save for your father and your landlord. Other than that, you have never had anyone here until now. Other than slow breaking in. And it's Crowe too. Just you two. Alone. I'm probably talking too much. You should get changed too. Crowe's voice snaps you out of your thoughts, and you look up to realize that he had already picked up the can from the counter. Crowe holds in his hands the feline, faintly purring as it snuggles close to his chest, rushing in his warmth. Cat sounds human. I never thought you'd see a day you're jealous over a cat, but here you are. Getting up from your chair, you accompany Crowe back into the living room before going to change as well. The sound of the shower head running fills your ears, and you look down at your bathroom white tiles, observing the water run down towards the sinkhole. The water heater helped you warm up a bit, but you couldn't help but thought running through your mind. Thoughts about that were mostly consumed by Crowe and the cat. Who's going to keep it? Why did he save it? And most importantly, how long is he planning to stay here? It's like he's planning to stay here like half an hour. I need my privacy. You look up, seeing his soaked vest and polo hanging on one of the bathroom's oilings. You should probably throw that in the dryer along with yours after. You wet outside, not wanting to waste any more water, and probably spend the next 30 minutes contemplating your life in the shower. You got out, dried yourself, and got yourself dressed. You return to the living room, find that Crowe had made himself comfortable on your couch, with the cat happily settled in his lap as he gives it a few pets. Suddenly, sensing your presence, Crowe lifts his head, and his eyes perk up upon seeing your figure. Welcome back. The cat's starting to relax. It's almost as if it belongs in this place. He chuckles. You made your way to him. And you're sink in the couch right by his side. You gaze at the cat and curled up in his lap, purring away in content. You bit your bottom lip. Cat 2, Digitwave 0. Have you thought of a name yet? Actually, no. I have a name. I'm never really good with names. Can I name it? How about you? You thought of a name for it? He tilts his head aside, waiting for the answer to his query. Give the cat a name. Okay. I need to spell Morgana. Morgana. Got it. Crowe smiles, his lips slightly turned upwards. He picks up the cat, and your little furry friend looks up at him, then you, and finally to its surroundings before it decides it had enough of Crowe's spinning it midair. It wiggled, protesting for Crowe to put it back down. I think Morgana is a wonderful name, Digitwave. I knew I could count on you for naming it. I named it after a character from a video game. Anyway, do you want something to eat? I could heat up some Hot Pockets we bought. That would be wonderful. 5-star cuisine right here. The sun had set on the horizon hours ago, and you could see the sky painted black from the window. From the rain still pouring just as hard as before, Crowe decided to stay a bit longer to enjoy your company. The can sleeps soundly on a nearby makeshift bed that you made together with Crowe. You sit beside him in the couch, the living room dimly lit with nothing but the television running what seems to be a slasher film. Are you watching Scream? Okay, hear me out. What did they have to make the serial killer so hot in this movie? it has to be Scream. That's the only one I can think of. Unless it's that one with the fire person, and it's actually Jensen Ackles, because I heard that. Then it's because it's Jensen. Excuse me. It's not me. If it's Scream, I'm laughing because I just think of him as Shaggy. I mean, look at him. He's clearly a perfect boy, pretty boy with blonde hair and charming smile. Okay, what movie are we watching? That makes sense, right? Especially when this is a killer in the movie. Cunning and charming. He's a good manipulator, having to enchant people so that he can kill them in the end. Like, most of them really... No, that's not how it goes, Crowe. I mean, Jason has the hockey mask most of the time. No one knew, and, pretty sure, Ghostface is it's the Ghostface mask, the far deaf mask, and, I actually found one there yesterday. I'm like, I picked it up. Oh, I wouldn't be able to breathe in it. I wouldn't buy it to go wear it for Halloween or anything. Because I would not be able to breathe. Froze the detective off, right? Well, the detective's just not very smart. I guess that makes sense. I wonder what would happen if we put Sherlock Holmes in the slasher movie. Everyone just gets, they just get caught that quick. I guess that makes sense. They did a good job casting whoever the killer is. He's pretty good. You know the actor? How about you? No, how about you? Surprised you didn't know him. He's one of the best multi-talented idols in Titus City. You cast your eyes back at the screen, and you're greeted by a serial killer's actor. Golden hair dyed with pink tips, rose-pink eyes that shone brightly, and a smile that was so alluring and magnetic, it was hard to tear your gaze away. It almost looked like an actual angel. going stabby stabby with people. So yeah, no. He's known as Aries. Besides being an actor, he's a good singer and model. Is Aries actually a killer though? Off screen. Well, wow, sounds like a big shot. He's also Jess's favorite actor. Did you know Jess owns the biggest fan page for this guy that has been recognized by him and many fans? Really? That's quite an achievement. I agree. With the face card like that, how could anyone not fall for him? Don't tell me he's your type. No. Nonsense. No. Yeah, sure, he's handsome, but he's not really my type. For a second, Crowe's eyes flicker with hope before disappearing. Instead, a smile is plastered on his face. That's good. Huh? Nothing. Crowe, you need to be careful because we already established our other love interest. Wait, I just went back. What did I say to make him like me too? The room fell silent afterwards, with neither of you uttering a word. As the television becomes background noise, you unconsciously fiddle with your fingers. You found it difficult to focus on the movie as you started feeling conscious of the male beside you. For your peripheral vision, you tried to sickly check up on Crowe, only to realize his whole attention is already on you, your heart beat racing. I need to check. It means I have 2 more. Hey, Dishwave. If you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Another one of your little trivia questions, Crowe. You laugh lightheartedly, attempting to ease the atmosphere. Yet Crowe did not seem to be bothered, so you shut yourself up quickly. Is that... No, sorry, I'm like... You bit your lip as you felt Crowe leaning in closer to your face, his breath brushing against your cheek. The movie itself is muffled in incoherent noise as the rapid beating of your heart floods your eardrums. Why don't you answer first? He chuckles slowly, sending a shiver down your spine. Crowe surprised you when he rests his head on your shoulder, the imminent gesture making your heart stop. Before you could say anything else, he buries his face in the crook of your neck, making you freeze. You pray he wouldn't hear just how loud your heart is beating. Dodging the question this time, huh? Well, if I would have to have anything in the world, I'd love to have more time. More time with you. More time to spend with you. Kind of selfish of me, huh? At this point, you weren't sure if he's talking to you or with himself. You glanced at Crowe from the corner of your eye, noticing his downcast gaze. He smiled at himself, but all you could see was a desperate expression he failed to suppress. You did not dare ask what was wrong. At the loss of words, you chose to remain silent. You stay in the position with Crowe for what felt like a minute, the hurt on his beautiful face replaying in your head. You swallowed and drifted your hand, gently placing it on the back of your head. You relaxed when you felt Crowe ease up on your touch. Taking it as a sign, you proceed to stroke his hair, brushing along his now soft and dry locks before your fingers. I should probably get going. Already? He pulls away and looks at you straight in the eyes. Multiple swirls of emotion fill his dull orbs. Down, drowsiness, uncertainty, longing. With one long exhale, Crowe finally gets off you and stands up, a few groans escaping his lips as he stretches limbs. With his hands and his hips, he gives you a smile. He couldn't shake off the feeling. It was done just to reassure you. The rain is slowing down a bit, plus it's getting quite late. I haven't contacted my relatives yet, so they might be really worried by now. I'll just call them. Are you sure you don't want to stay the night? You want to say it so badly. You really, really want to, but you couldn't. You couldn't. And then again, he'd definitely die. Because we have a stalker. You clutch the fabric of your shirt above when you painfully beat your beating heart lies. You're probably right. Let me get you your clothes from the dryer. I'll see you out. Thank you, Jitwave. You're the best of the best. Are you sure you'll be fine, Crowe? I already called my driver. I'm sure I'll probably get an earful from him, but that's alright. They're probably going to question me about Morgana, but I'll think of something. Some excuse. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep him with me, Crowe. Oh, I will have kept them. I named them. I'm keeping them. We're gonna go steal some stuff from stuff. That's alright. In fact, I already know who would be the perfect cat owner for them. Me? And the kitten crawled in his arms. Crowe did a mock-up face of a grumpy person, exaggerating his expression, with cheeks puffed and shoulders raised. You can only make a wild guess on the mysterious identity. Geo? What a shame that your apartment had no pet policy. And that fact that you know absolutely no one who could take care of the kitten. I would totally take care of the kitten. After talking it out with Crowe, he decided to take the kitten with him. Thankfully, he had a few spare boxes lying around, and you gave him one. Gave one for Crowe to place the kitten in. Today's been fun, Crowe. His brows raised a mild surprise, then a soft smile painting his features. With his dominant hand, he ruffles at the top of his head, messing with your hair a bit and earning him a chuckle. Hey now. I have fun too, Digitwave. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow. You move to close the door, but stopped by the sudden sensation of something soft landing on your forehead. Your eyes travel up, arousing Crowe had been given you a tender kiss near your brow. While your face heated up, your brain short-circuited at the feel of his soft, lips lingering on your skin. Good night, Digitwave. He gives you a casual wave, Morgana picking out of his box to give you one last look, as if bidding you goodbye before you finally close your door. That's a tense. She's finally back, huh? Come on, Morgana, let's go home. Oh, that's his mom he's talking about. To be continued. Okay, we got them all. So the only ones we don't have is 2 of the others. I mean, I could always check to see what happens if I'll think of it. I'll try to see if where I can find them tomorrow, in that time. That was the kid in the back Crowe route. If you want more content, please subscribe. How about a comment down below. See you guys next time.